Better late than never, eh? Better late than never. Sorry to keep you waiting. Oh, that coffee is ass. Oh my God. I couldn't find Coffee Man. You don't know Coffee Man yet, but there's a Coffee Man. You'll get to know him if you're one of the cool people who watch English Refugee. I couldn't find Coffee Man. I get lost in the market. It's very complicated. And there's lots of like pig heads everywhere and all sorts of crazy shit going on. Monks walking around. There's all sorts going on. It's just a full spectrum. It's not to cast any aspersions towards monks. It's just to say there's a full spectrum between monks and pig heads. So it's a pretty crazy place. So I don't needless to say, it stresses the hell out of me. Not as much as the bright lights in that. You know, I'd much rather be in a market like a proper Southeast Asian market with all the locals than that fucking Go place in Dalat. That was awful. Oh, I think we need to get rid of one. Oh dear. Oh God, really bad. How pathetic. So yeah, I'd much rather be in there, but it's still stressful because it's so hot. That's the only thing that stresses me out. I actually love the market, except for the beggars. Away with you, beggar! All right, who we got? Arcadian. I just saw. Sorry, mate. I just saw you saying you can't find Not Today Satan. At NTS_news. Wow, Arcadian's communicating with Sophie. That's crazy. Not too bad, thanks. How are you? Have you had a good day? Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Absolutely amazing. Why amazing? I remember to... It's a bit much for Sophie, mate. So who are you? You know, no, she has no idea what you're talking about, mate. No idea what you're talking about. Oh, blessings. Justin, the funny man. Plebs on parade. Come straight in with some nice early motivation. Oops, I've just hidden it. Some nice early motivation. Thank you, Justin. I definitely need it after the first sip of my ass coffee. I don't believe it. So, Coffee Man sells hazelnut chocolate vibe coffee. It's incredible. And then if you end up just buying the crap in packets that the plebs buy in the shops because you can't find Coffee Man in the market, then you end up drinking pleb ass coffee. Pleb ass coffee, not to be confused with the ultimate pleb coffee, which is called Nescafe. I was gobsmacked when I first went round to Lee and Marina downstairs. Lee doesn't have anything to do with coffee, but Marina obviously does. So I asked for a coffee and she got out a jar of Nescafe. I was like, whoa, bitch. Stop right there. I'll go and get my own. Madness. Like, how do people think that's coffee? Thank you, Justin. The plebs are on parade, and many will be in this chat tonight. Here is Chief Pleb. Okay, howdy. Howdy, Captain. So, hello, Lisa. Hello, Rachel. Evening all. She's just in the middle of watching the Amos video, and she got a notification, so she jumped on over. What you making of the Amos video? You'll be going, yeah, I'm way more enlightened than him. In fact, I'll be the most enlightened person Lee has ever had in a session. I imagine you're seeing confirmation that you can work with Lee through that video. He does a great job with Amos. I love the noises Amos makes. I mean, he keeps saying interesting. But then you get these odd moments where he's like, whoa. I love it. It's so good. The awakening in sound. Hello, Liz. Great to have you with us. Big love. Are these in relation to the hi? I mean, it's literally, it's like, you know, it's off the screen, but like, you know, it's like, how is this communication we're going to work out? You don't even know what he's talking about, Sophie. You don't even know what he's talking about. Oh, so funny. So funny. Mate, this is proper pleb coffee. It tastes of ass. That's coming from someone who's quite partial to licking ass. Is that... It's actually a bit of a chore to drink. This is so disappointing. You know, coffee is one of the things that I look forward to most. Like, you know, when I'm going to bed at night, often it comes up for me like, oh, when you wake up, you can drink some coffee. That would be great. Yeah, I would say it's in having a smoke, having a tug, first coffees of the day, coconut, pineapple, and honey juice smoothie drink, receiving a chat, a super chat. I would say they're the highlights of my day. And one of them has just turned to ass. Actual ass. Oh my God. How disappointing. The rats rant. The rats rant. Anyway, I don't want to be ringing this person up and giving them attention because it feeds their, let's just call it demon or insanity or whatever is going on with that one. Who knows? Have you seen anything from R-Cake's channel? Jason is P awesome. I feel like I do recognize the name of that channel. But even if I do, the answer is really no. Thank you, Justin. I love it when people ask questions and chuck in the two. Tom, do you think democracy is a sham system? Are you new to my content, Justin? Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's impossible. So in the 1800s, I mean, it's so obvious from, just look at the fact that every single poll of the British people, certainly in the last 20 years, but I think it's probably 40, when asked about migration, overall, the British people have said less migration. And every single politician for, let's just say, the last 20 years, but it's more, has betrayed them. So, I mean, first of all, what's democracy? Like really, if you go back to what it's supposed to be, what I was taught in school is the people decide who they want to govern the lands based on who's going to serve the people the most. I mean, we're so far from that. Like, I don't even think plebs think we actually have any say anymore. I think plebs think that we can maybe shuffle between these. I suppose there's some, yeah, I mean, look at the people believing in reform or Rupert Lowe, like they actually think that they can change something or want to change something. So I suppose people do still believe in these parties. I mean, it's just so ridiculous to me. It's so obvious to me that they let's just say, do not work for the people. Like, that's very obvious. And then a few steps on from there, oh, right, they all work for the same people and they have an agenda and it's called Agenda 2030 or Kalergi Plan, whatever you want to call it. There's many names for it. So, you know, just on that level, just on the, so the only morsel of democracy that people are still maybe holding on to is that they get to choose between the tyrants. And there might be one tyrant that's slightly less tyrannical. Is that even democracy? I would say not. Like, to me, democracy is a group of administrators. I mean, even this word government, who the fuck are you governing? Like, fuck off. You're my administration, bitch. Go and do your administration, bitch. It should be a small group of administration bitches who do the administration. And, you know, if we're not a heart-based society, which obviously we're not now, so, you know, eventually I think we wouldn't need a police force, but as we transition towards, you know, everyone doing the work, when we wouldn't need a police force anymore, you know, we'll need a small police force that just work on common law, you know, and to serve us. But once you look into it, I say it all the time. I'm surprised you haven't heard me say it, Justin, because you were on the stream yesterday, but you chucked in the two, so that's fine. once you look into what happened in the 1800s, and no, you can fuck off from there. The cat's trying to escape. Oh yeah, I meant to be showing you my pussies. Once you know what happened in the 1800s, you will never believe this bullshit again. Because I'm not going to go into it all, because I say it all the bloody time. I might go into it. But basically, all you need to do is this. They reset society. As in, you know, took away the amazing technology and lied to us about overbuild. I'm not going to go into all the details. If you want to know, you watch a channel called Tartarian Vault. If you don't want to know and you want to stay retarded and you want to keep wondering if we're working with democracy, if there's a democracy here, then don't do any of this. But if you watch Tartarian Vault, all this will fall apart because you'll realise that in the 1800s, they basically did what they did in Cambodia almost. I mean, not as bad, but maybe it's totally erased from our history, so we don't know. But they put loads of people in mental asylums. So basically people that didn't accept the reset, they put them in mental asylums. If you read the records, it's stuff like reads too much, religious fanaticism. This is why they got institutionalized. No, I'm not doing that. They got institutionalized. We've also got all these orphanages. I mean, even normies are aware of the 1800 orphanages, but nobody asks why were there so many orphans? Well, it's because all their parents have been sent into mental asylums. So it's the Cabbage Patch Kids. It's where the Cabbage Patch Kid doll thing comes from. Like, it's a really known thing, even in normie world, even in normie history, that there were a lot of orphans in the 1800s, but it's not explained why. And people even know about them getting bussed around the country and stuff. Well, they were repopulating because they found the Freemasonry. But anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just going to tell you that there was a massive reset in the 1800s, which took a lot of work, as in they completely changed society. They completely changed your belief system. And if you didn't change your belief system, not even belief system, knowing of what the world was, which was beautiful, and Tesla technology and all this crazy stuff, the sort of technology that can build pyramids and Angkor Wat and all this. Well, actually, no, if you watch a video of Lee, it wasn't technology, but for the basis of this chat, the technology. So you think they're going to reset everything? You think they're going to basically off everyone that doesn't agree, and then you think they're going to so they've got complete control, and then you think they're going to go, here's democracy. I mean, it's just the most spectarded viewpoint I've ever come across, really. After spinning ball. Yes, let's lose some tards early. You're not on a spinning ball, everyone. Deal with it. Bye. Unsubscribe. Off me fucks. Go and watch some pleb crap. We're not here for plebs. We're here for people like this. Caruso. I recently started doing outdoor kettlebell workouts on the grass. Shoes and shocks up. The reason I'm laughing is because it's just so good. Shoes and, so this is so the opposite. It's not about Justin, just that anyone who would really believe in democracy. I imagine Justin asked that question because he knew for £2 he could see an epic rant, not because he actually believes in it. But you know, we've got people still fucking focusing on fucking politics, a show, a sham. And then you've got Caruso bouncing around outside with no socks on and kettlebells in the grass. The spectrum of consciousness, everyone. I know the NPCs are looking, but two in my zone are to even care. Some will hate, some will be inspired. Exactly, Caruso. Yeah, exactly, mate. You know, man. You know. When you're a way shower, you're Marmite. You're either loved or hated. And it's all based on how open people are to themselves. So this really fits in with what I talk about a lot in my English refugee videos out here. I mean, just the fact that that is even a thing. The fact that NPCs are looking and you're two in your zone to care, so fully honouring you being two in your zone to care. But just the fact that that's even a thing. The fact that a man doing exercises outside, properly exercising as well, you know, like really get into it. I mean, I know you'll be like a fucking monster of a man, like when it's like, whoa, I can just feel that energy all running right through you. And people are looking at, he's doing something that isn't robotic. Now in Asia, well, it is very conformist and no one like puts their head above the parapet. But there's none of that. There's none of that shaming. Like you get, like in Vietnam, I saw it a lot, maybe because there's more older people in Vietnam. I've seen it less here. I haven't seen anyone doing Tai Chi here, but I have seen people walking weird from a Western point of view, but like they're exercising. So you'll get people walking around the parks like this. And no one even looks at them. It's totally normal. Or you'll get like old men doing Tai Chi in the parks. People doing star jumps at the side of the road. Like it's totally normal. It's totally normal. I can't speak into it because I don't understand the culture and I'm not from here. Because it's funny because I was gonna say then it's there's no shaming here, but then there is this major, collectivism, which obviously has loads of pros and loads of pros. But one of the cons I see is the death of the individual. Like it doesn't feel like there's many individuals out here. They're kind of all one. They're all one mod of loveliness. They're amazing people, but there aren't really like interesting individuals. Of course, there are some, but not on the same scale as in the West. But it's really interesting because also what comes with that is this no shaming of people just exercising outside. It's really interesting. Like I can't quite get my head around how the two things exist at the same time, because you would think that to get that collectivist, no one put their head above the parapet mentality, then you would also have this like, and I want it. But then it's not out of the norm to do that. It's really normal. I think in 20 years it would have changed a lot because the new generation aren't doing it. The new generation are just staring like this and taking selfies. Like, oh my God, I've never seen so much selfie taken before I came to Southeast Asia. But it's only in under 30s. Riley, is ER still a thing? Yeah, of course. Oh, ER, she's not talking about English refugee, is she? So Riley was thinking that people were talking about that stupid pleb show. No, they're talking about my fantastic entertainment, Riley. Where have you been? I have 3 channels. Get on them all. Stop watching anyone else. Just watch me and send me money. Worship me. Have you not worked out? I'm a guru. So I'm just winding up the plebs now. Just to be clear. All right, Riley realising they're retarded. Oh, lol, sorry, I thought we were talking about the emergency room. So funny. Do you think, I should not answer any of this guy's questions and get into number 2. In fact, is there another 2? That's a joke, of course I'm going to answer all of your questions. You don't need to keep doing this, but I really appreciate that you do. Have you read, I haven't read anything, mate. I think this is a hater, potentially, who's trying to... So they're so... If that is true, they're so deluded and so far from any alignment and truth themselves that obviously they project that onto everyone else. So when they see somebody like this who can speak really competently with wisdom... Well, no, I can't speak competently, but I can spasmodically speak with wisdom. They just can't even take it in. They can't believe it. Like they just don't think it's a thing. So I think what he might be trying to do is ridicule me or expose me in his mind. But obviously he won't be able to expose me because I'm the real shit. Do you think Farage and Lowe are grifters? No, I don't think anyone's a grifter. I think that's a made-up term by jealous office workers. I think it's way worse than that, actually. I think they work for the Them Every Time Club. I mean, Farage is an absolute disgrace. His politics are aligned with Liberal Democrats. I don't know why the media tries to make out that he's right wing. I don't understand it. Oh wow. Heart to Hearts is here. I will be with you in a minute, Heart to Hearts, although I know you don't need my attention. So Farage, like to even put the 2 men in, I mean, you could put the 2 men in the same category in terms of they work for the same Them Every Time Club, but from what seems to be your perspective, to even be putting them in the same sentence together, like Farage is a lefty. Farage clearly works for the state. And so does Lowe, but he's a bit harder to spot. And really, for me, I mean, he did say some things that made it clear the other day, where he basically said he doesn't like ethno-nationalism, so he doesn't like nationalists. So that's a bit of an issue for what people think is a nationalist party. So he has said some things that make it fairly clear. But just if you're even thinking about politics, if you're even thinking there's any possibility that it could work for you and could improve your life, then you're living like this with blinkers on, and you need to do whatever it is that will take those off for you. I mean, for me, it's, you know, you could just simply watch a channel called Call for an Uprising or My Not Today Satan channel, and but I can only assume you're watching it like this because you're so in fear that you need external saviors still for large and low. But no, they're not grifters. They are puppets who work for the Them Every Time Club, who control this world and are the reason, for many people, the experience of this world is so dire. Heart to Heart, thank you so much. I have been slightly concerned. I've not been going into it. It's come up for me in the last couple of live streams, like, oh dear, I hope I haven't done anything to upset Heart to Heart. But then, Heart to Heart. But then, this wasn't really a process. I haven't been like feeling this. It's just thoughts that have popped into my head. But then the next thought that popped up was like, just to honor the time that we did spend together and the generosity that you did share, and to not noticing that there was starting to become an expectation in me, just because of your regularity. That's all. The regular heart, and that obviously is unacceptable. It is entitled. And of course, this will end at some point. Of course, I don't expect this to be happening in X amount of time. So, and then I think a story popped up, like maybe you haven't upset her, because I really don't think you've said anything that would, and it would take something very extreme to upset such a high vibrating, beautiful being who is obviously past basic offense. It would take a wee fat shrug moment where I totally F it up. And even that, I question whether that would be the end of you. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. There was one third piece to it all that's gone because I went off on a wee fat shrug tangent. Basically, I'm quite impressed with how I've dealt with your absence over the last 4 days. Because the Tom of a few weeks ago would have gone into all sorts of stories over it and would have like lied awake thinking about it and worrying about it. But from an entitled place, from a place of expecting, how dare I expect you to show up on every live stream and be so generous? Like, of course not. But when I didn't see you for 4 days, it was like, oh dear, have we lost Heart to Heart? Oh no, that was it. There was a final piece around, I basically got to a place where I was like, well, if we're not going to see her again, then I think what's happened is she's put a load of love into me when I needed it, and she's seen that, you know, I don't need that level of support anymore. She's letting me flat. But I'm really glad that you're still here supporting me. Thank you so much, Heart to Heart. I love you. I really love you. There's no stickers tonight, unfortunately, Heart to Hearts. We're not on OBS. Hoping that OBS will be a consistent feature from the next live stream onwards. The laptop is now repaired. Not repaired is too strong a word. There was nothing wrong with that. Technical people have done technical things on my laptop that have improved it somewhat. So, so yeah, should be able to use OBS moving forwards. And Heart to Heart will get all her hearts in stickers. All right, where are we at? Okay, let's go a bit more down the chat. Oh, Rachel is always interesting. Oh, we've missed out Riley. Oh no, she's just talking to people. Have spent £55 today on flowers. Beautiful. To attract bees. All right, so these, let's just try and read the comments. To attract bees to help populate my runner beans. Bees prefer purples, blues, pinks, and yellows. So that sounds like pretty much every color. And they cannot see red flowers. That's interesting. So presumably you've bought flowers that you can put in the ground and aren't just going to die. When I hear flowers, I think of this. And also, Rachel, what are your thoughts on this? What do the flowers think about this? Is this not flower murder? And everyone else, open it up to everyone else. But flowers are Rachel's thing, along with anything that is to do with the ground, including pissing on it, apparently. So presumably you've bought plants, not flowers. Just my terminology, I'm not making you wrong. You know, they are flowers, I suppose. But flowers definitely brings up this for most people. How good are these, by the way? This is my thank you to Heart to Heart. I know she'll appreciate this more than any silly little stickers on a screen. Guess how much this bunch of flowers cost, people? This is the game for the chat right now. Oh, what fun we have. My God, where do you get this quality of entertainment anywhere else? Spen, let me tell our story. I've got a good story with Spen. I don't think I've ever told this. Mine and Spen's story. Can't remember every detail. Presumably it starts over email. Get an email. So I'm living in Sheffield. I'm pretty depressed. I think Not Today Satan has just started to blow up. So I'm on the excitement, oh my God, am I becoming a YouTuber stage of my journey. Full of ego. But you know, a pretty nice guy doing his best. And I assume I get an email from Spen. Spen reaches out somehow. It must have been email. Maybe it was Patreon. And Spen's been a big supporter for a long time. And I can't quite remember, but it's something like this. Yo, dude, I want to meet you. I'm like, okay. Now, this is before I'd had loads of demons and stuff, so I was much more open. And I've become more open now. There's a couple of people who have emailed me about meeting up, and I'm up for it. And I'm going to lick Riley in Eastern Europe, so it's all good. So we're back into, well, not back, it's a different spiral of depth, where before I was meeting people out of ego, and now I'm meeting people through connection. So at this point, I'm very resistant to meeting anyone. Yeah, I'm not meeting anyone at this point. The only person I met in those 6 months was somebody who paid me 20 quid to go on their YouTube channel. And then I bumped into a few people at the sauna who I sort of became loose friends with. But really, they were just associates at the sauna. People, one of them, Jamie, if you're still watching, really like Jamie. The rest of them were all just associates. Oh, apart from, of course, Sophie and Debbie, they're special. Anyway, let's try and tell Spen's bloody story. Hey, dude, I want to meet you. Oh, right, okay, great. Well, not so great, but like, okay, yeah, I was still a people pleaser, that was it. So rather than just going like, sorry, bro, I don't meet people. I was like, oh yeah, okay, great. As in, theoretically, fine, but it's not actually going to happen, bro. And then I can't quite remember, but it's something like, he tells him where he lives and it's fucking miles away. It's like, it's a 4-hour drive away. So I can't remember what details I give him, but I guess I certainly don't give him my address. I think maybe theoretically speaking to the possibility of meeting him, in my mind, this is all in my mind, I mean, I'll tell you about Spen's mind in a minute. In my mind, I theoretically speak into the possibility of us meeting up one day. And I might mention Sheffield train station or something like that. And then the next thing, it's 4 o'clock and I'm getting a call from oh yeah, I gave him my number. I'm getting a call from an unknown number, not unknown, unknown, not withheld, on my phone. And I'm like, hello? He's like, yo, dude, it's Ben, I'm an hour away. I'm just like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what the fuck? But I'm not doing this story justice because it's meant to be more of an honoring, actually, because I really, really respected it. So I went straight into like, oh my fucking God, you're kidding me. I've got to actually spend some time with someone. Are you kidding me? And now it was 4 p.m. I was editing a video to get it out for 5 p.m. You know, I was in my thing, doing me. And that's obviously all I do because I'm completely selfish and entitled. So suddenly I've got to go and meet someone and spend some time with someone. I'm just like, what the fuck? So I'm like, oh, great. That's great news. So then I send him my location. I give him the woods we're going to meet at. And then we go and walk, and we have a lovely walk. And Spen's a great guy. Like, he's a really great guy. And I really honor and love. See, to me, it was incomprehensible that this guy Like I couldn't even, it was, when I talk about beyond people's perspective, people can only perceive to their level of perception. Well, this was my level of perception. I couldn't perceive that anyone would do a 4-hour journey without like confirming a day, a time, knowing the other person was going to be there at the other side. Like, who does that? That's insane. But also, I love insanity, as in I love people who are spur of the moment. I love people who are different. I love people who just make things happen, who just do things. So I was really inspired by it. Like, I thought it was amazing. Whilst I also thought it was a bit crazy. So yeah, Ben and I went on a walk together. He bought some ayahuasca chocolates off me. And that's why Spen's even cooler now than he was then. I don't think I've ever found out how they worked out for you, Spen. I assume well. Nice meeting you, Spen. And then he joined my men's groups. Democracy is dead. Colossal! Democracy is dead, and people don't even realize it. We voted for a real Brexit. Yeah, I mean, that is a great example. And what happened? They increased migration and allow people in rubber dinghies to turn up. That is, you know, I don't like the example because it still comes from, you know, a recent, I love the example, but I also don't like it. It's just the paradox of life. It's nothing to do with Clouseau. Yeah, I mean, I won't speak into that side. He's so right. Look at this. Look at this. We made a very clear vote that was literally a vote on immigration. Brexit was a vote about immigration. And the kick them outside won. And then look what happened, immigration. And Labour have even admitted, and again, I don't want to say this because this makes it about parties, and maybe Rupert can say it today, yeah. But, you know, the Labour puppets, and obviously they do this to make you hate the Labour and think that Rupert Lowe's different. The Labour puppets even admitted that they did it to piss off right-wingers. Like, they, you know, I mean, I mean, obviously that's not true. Like, it's been planned for years and years, Kalergi plan, but, you know, from the pleb show level, how blasé is that? Like, how like, we have people in power that will make decisions based on pissing people off rather than the long-term growth of the country. Hey, CT7, come and say hello to my friends and the plebs. CT7 says hello to all of you, even if you're a pleb. I'm CT7 and I've already lost 2 of my 9 lives, hence my name. The reason it's CT is because it stands for Crooked Tail. Crooked Tail 7, CT7. He's amazing. Oh my God, he's such a loving cat. So Beans is crap. Beans isn't interested. And that's fine. We can admire Beans from a distance because Beans is beautiful and cats are still just interesting to watch. So that's fine. But this cat, I mean, he's stroking my feet right now. This cat is unbelievable. Like, so they really came out of their shell about 5, 6 p.m. last night. Jamie came round, their mum, their human mum. And that's when they really came out of their shell and realized, like, okay, we're safe here. And then from that moment onwards to when I went to bed, which I think was about 9 p.m., he was on my lap. Or, oh my God, at first, so I'm lying down on the sofa, pillow. He lies here. This was his first move of connection. I mean, we did the whole, like, him running across my lap, strokey stroke. But, like, the first, like, bump connection, I'm going to vibrate next to your temple. Because for me, that's what's really happening here. Like, there's all the niceties of a cat and stroking a cat and the third dimension, and that's great. But really, like, what's happening vibrationally when they purr, like, that's what I'm interested in. And, you know, so he's purring, like, whilst lying here. He's literally, like, wrapped himself around my head. And I'm just like, amazing. And then from then on, he was just on my lap all night. Like, this cat is amazing. Yes, I'm talking about you. You're very loving, aren't you? You're very, very loving. Oh, yes. You're like a little puppy, but not as, doesn't need as much attention. Well, actually, you need loads of attention, which I really like. Okay, let's get you on my lap. Come on, darling. Yes, you stay there. You get lots of cuddles. What we're doing? We're doing a live stream. Okay, let's get back to the live stream. So yeah, I mean, that is just a great example, Clouseau. Thanks for chucking it in. I love Spenny, so much fun. Do you piss them to water them? That's interesting. I won't answer for that. Wow, Spen's great. That's really witty. That is very intellectually intelligent. Intellectually amusing. I'm voting for Judy this time. Punch can do one. That is so good, Spen. I'm going to try and steal that. I'm going to try and remember that. That is really good. Lozza's in the house. Hey, Lozza. All right, let's get a bit down to the chat. All right, here's Justin. So before I read this, I've read I'm Not a Hater, but I don't think you're. Oh yeah, I did go into a possibility that you were, because you were just asking so many random questions. Like, mate, this is my trauma playing out. I'm not really traumatized anymore, but there's still elements of. I had a demon. Like, no, I didn't. Let me rephrase that. A demon thought he had me, and for a little while he did. And then he lost his grip of me as I saw through his psyop. Oh, he's still on my lap, man. This cat's amazing. And then he turned into somebody that creates loads of profiles to try and trick me. And it doesn't matter if he does. Like, so for example, he could be, I don't think you are him, but I'm just going to use you as an example. This is kind of how he behaved. It's quite similar. And that's not me saying there's anything wrong. Like, I love what you're doing. You're asking lots of questions. You're contributing to the chat and you're contributing financially. You're amazing, Justin. Like, you're exactly what a live streamer wants. But it is akin to how he showed up. So this is my trauma projecting onto you. It's nothing to do with you. And I need to just completely get over it. I need to release the last little bits of it. There's obviously still some little bits there. Because why am I worried, even if you are him? Like, why am I worried? If that's my ego that doesn't want him to think he's tricked me. But who cares if he tricks me? Like, it doesn't matter. He's just pretending to be somebody. Like, of course, I'm going to take people at face value and assume they are who they say they are. So it's not even tricking me. So it's my ego not wanting him to have his victory. So it's all egoic bullshit. I'm going to let go of it all. So that's where it came from, Justin, not you or your behavior. So don't take it personally. I'm not a hater, bro, but there's nothing wrong with having a laugh. Totally agree. The two philosophers I mentioned are anti-democratic traditionalists who believe in hidden history, which you alluded to earlier. Wow, yeah, Justin knows. Justin's the shit. Big love, Justin. Really appreciate you and how you show up. You are a live streamer's dream. Please keep doing what you're doing. I will try and not project on you again. Oh, Heart of Hearts loves Rachel. We all love Rachel. So as a reflection to you, Sophie, just to show you, like to try and help you, you know, I'm not getting at you. I used to speak to Rachel the same way I spoke to you. And I used to judge Rachel the same way I judge you. And look at me and Rachel now. So it's not a personal thing. It's not a bullying thing. It's not a singling someone out thing. There's no part of me that doesn't want to acknowledge transformation. There's no part of me that won't acknowledge transformation. All I actually want for you is transformation. I've been trying to help you this whole time, but I've just given up now. I've disconnected from judging my self-worth based on your journey. How was that ever a thing? But it was. So, you know, I'm just trying to show you that, you know, there's love here and there's good intentions here. And everything I say because I'm trying to help you. and really, if you want to see that, which I imagine you don't, but if you want to see that, then all you need to do is look at mine and Rachel's relationship and how that's transformed. And, you know, you can't really deny my intentions if you're able to see that. But obviously you won't be able to see that because then you'll have to look at yourself. Did you see Beans? You just saw Beans. Oh, Beans. Beans is so good looking, but not very friendly. Not unfriendly, just not bothered. Doesn't need me. Hey, Beans. Say hi to the plebs and the lovely ones, especially Heart to Heart. Hi, Heart to Heart. Thanks for feeding us. And Tom. I'm paying for his rent. Your political views align with mine. Been watching you for a week now, and your confidence is what makes me watch. Too many pussy sheep around nowadays, like the mate. Yeah. I think courage is probably a better word than confidence. Like, I'm just done with letting them repress me in any way. I would rather be dead. I would rather be in jail for the rest of my life than toe the party line. I'm just done. You know, I trust the universe enough. and trust my journey enough. And that doesn't mean I don't believe I'll end up in jail. Like, I trust that if I end up in jail, that that's meant to happen, as in I'll finally become the meditating guru that I'm meant to be. Because I'm never going to spend my day meditating out here. So maybe I need to go to prison. So, you know, this is where you get to when you really trust. And then that is what creates, well, you need the courage to start to trust. But then when you can trust, as in you receive the evidence that allows you to trust, I'm talking about God, which is really self, but let's just use the word God. Once you get that level of trust, then you can be this confident, this courageous. Because you know there's nothing to fear, because this is just an experience, and whatever you experience is all meant to be and will all aid your soul. Especially when you get to the age of 40 and you've had so many disasters and calamities, business failure, for example, prison in Thailand, and every single one of them, a demonic stalker, every single one of them has been for your greater good. Every single one of them has, in hindsight, propelled your journey and been of great service to you. You get to a point where you have to stop seeing things as bad, and you have to stop worrying about certain life possible outcomes, like jail. And you just have to be authentic and trust, and just know that whatever happens is meant to happen and will be for your greater good, even if you don't realize it in the moment. That's the evidence that I have accrued through this life. No, you're not fucking the chair up. Okay, you can do that. SCT7. No, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. You're not doing that. No, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. I need to get them a scratchy thing. I'll go and buy one today. But then they're still just going to scratch the chairs. I'm going to have to cover up these beautiful chairs, man. Cats are not worth it. I've already decided I want to get rid of these cats. I'm joking. They're so worth it. But I really like the orange on these chairs. I really like the fact that these chairs clearly cost like £500 and are really good quality. No, you really can't do that. I haven't paid a deposit, but you still can't do it. I really like the hippie landlord. Like, obviously I'd never want to destroy any furniture anywhere I live, but definitely not hippie landlord when he spent like £500 on a chair, or maybe even more. Like, they're so heavy. He got them from Europe. And they're really beautiful. Like, they're really beautiful. I really like the orange. And I'm going to have to cover them up in that, if you've watched the videos of Lee in his apartment, with that crap grey shit. Oh, that's so depressing. At least I've got this. I'm going to call it the Heart to Heart light, because it reminds me of Heart to Heart, the purple. Whenever I put it on and it's purple, I'm like, oh, Heart to Heart. Yes, great, Raw Egg. Please comment more. You're a good one. Caluso, you mentioned surrender last stream and it clicked with me. Oh, I love those click moments. I call them like, well, you can have the first click where it comes here and you start intellectually understanding it, but the click, which is great, but the click that I really love is when it goes boop and becomes embodied, because then it becomes your way. While it's here, it's an egoic thought process. But when it's here, it's embodied and it's your way. It's the way you walk. You don't have to think about it. You mentioned surrender last stream and it clicked in me. I did shrooms, went on a mad ride. Wow, you're an amazing stage of your journey. I love this stage. It's just fucking manic and mental and like, but also like, I kind of miss it, but I don't. I'm glad I'm at a more balanced part of the journey because it's just easier and more peaceful. But also, this is a really exciting stage. Last stream, and it clicked with me. I did some shrooms, went on a mad ride, was being lifted up, surrounded by love. The moment I tried to control things, but they sent me back. Yeah, great. I love that. I love that. I just love that, Caruso. What a wonderful experience. What a wonderful evidence gathering mission that was. Because as I said yesterday, this isn't woo-woo. This is based on evidence. And you can only trust more based on evidence. You know, it's not belief. It's not what the Christians are doing. It's not what the Muslims are doing. It's not what the people who believe in politics are doing. It's not hope. It's not belief. It's evidence. It's knowing. It's amazing. And this is why you can end up, and this is me, like, I'm nowhere near like what people would call enlightened or finished. Neither of those things really exist, particularly the finished one. But I'm at a stage where life is joyful and I'm laughing all the time. So that's good. Will you stop destroying this fucking chair? Okay, I appreciate it's my fault and I need to get you some scratchy stuff. But you can't be scratching that chair. Oh, fucking cats, man. Fucking cats. Storm Dog. I feel like I need to say something. When I was watching it back, I said something. I was like, oh, I need to clarify that. Oh, what was it? Can't remember, but I feel like there's something around you that I wasn't happy with in terms of my response. Basically, I didn't honor you enough. Like, I just think you're amazing. Oh, it might have just been that, like, you're the new Shug. So it's, I love how this universe works. So it's constantly, you know, teaching you through lessons and challenges, and beautiful stuff as well. You know, lessons and challenges if your eyes are still closed, and then it becomes more beautiful. So I had this amazing commenter and Patreon member called We Fat Shug, who made really similar comments to Storm Dog in terms of like just smashed the external, but also clearly, as we discovered last night with Storm Dog, is very enlightened. So he was great. He was really highly valued, and I really effed it up. I went too far in my showmanship and tried to entertain people by seriously insulting him. And I recognized it and I took it back straight away. And then, but I was still blaming him in terms of like, I can't believe he got offended, like how plebbish to get offended. Anyway, I then took responsibility and did my whole self-work thing around it with Lee, put it all on camera for the plebs to see, and then, and the good ones, of course. And then you came. So it's like, and you're very similar to We Fat Shug. So that's fine. And so it was like there was this energy within me, shame, fear, guilt over what had happened. And then that got loved, that got seen, that got understood, that got, let's just say, released or integrated. And then you popped up. Hi, I'm just another version of We Fat Shug who's going to contribute loads of amazing stuff to your chat. So yeah, I really want to honor you and thank you for being here and thank you for all your contributing. And also I want to just speak into the beauty of this journey and how it works and how if you let something go, not that I let go of WeChat, you know, I effed it up, but I took the lessons from it and I made it part of my transformation. And then the reward, the reflection of that was you. Big love, Storm Dog. Sure, look at this. Shrooms aren't the way, smoke the doobies. So what this is saying is I'm scared of myself, and when I took shrooms, I judge it as a bad trip. There's no such thing as a bad trip. You're just meeting the parts of yourself you're scared of. But if you do this and repress, then you'll have a bad trip. Whereas if you just open and surrender, then you'll receive all the love and beauty. So stop telling people what to do from your place of low consciousness and fear. Smoke your doobie and focus on yourself. Because that is the worst advice I've ever heard in my life. Flowers are short-lived and are perennial. Multi-year plants will just sprout new branches, etc. Yeah, no, I get that. Right, so you can also class something as a flower, even if it has roots in the ground, if it's, what do you call the opposite of perennial? I forget, but if it's like one of them that just lasts for a year. I mean, how's that a thing? Presumably they've been genetically modified and human created, because there can't be any plant that, well, I suppose there are some plants that would actually naturally design for just a season. Yeah, but I was asking more about, is it cruel or selfish might be a better word to do this to plants, just so you can look at them in your house for 4 days? I'm more interested than stupid human conceptions like cruel and selfish. Energetically, that's all I'm interested in. I don't care about human judgment. Energetically, are those plants angry? Are they emitting a beautiful, I'm so beautiful and loving energy, which I assume they are? Or are they emitting a, you fucker, you chopped me up and I'm dying, you C-U-N-T energy? Now, obviously my ego has just assumed and told itself that they're emitting a beautiful energy and therefore that's what it feels from them. So I do think I do think I feel a beautiful energy from the flowers, but of course that's a story I've made, so I don't know if it's true. Because, you know, the stories of the ego are more powerful than the feeling often, until you really get to deep levels of feeling, which is why everyone's so art-hearted. The rounded type flowers look like it has a stamen covered in the pollen like lilies have, Tom. If you cut the stamen off, they are seriously toxic to cats. Yeah, thanks for that reminder. Thanks for that reminder. I will do that. Thank you, Riley. I did know that about lilies, but I'd totally forgotten. I think if I'd have bought some lilies, I would have remembered, like as I was looking at them. But I didn't know that that just goes into all plants. So which one are you talking about? Stamen. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see. I know exactly what you mean on a lily. It's very obvious on a lily. You must be talking about this white one. Oh, I've already got rid of a comment. I don't know what you're talking about. But I do appreciate it. Can you break it down for this dum-dum a little bit more? Tell me exactly what it looks like. If you knew the police were going to arrest you for a thought crime, knowing you will go to prison for 2 years for no reason, would you run? Yes, I already have. Hiya, I'm in Cambodia. Of course. I would do anything in my power to not let them get me. I would break any law necessary other than harming another. I would happily harm, you know, one of them. Of course, I'm not condoning or encouraging that, but I'm saying desperate times, desperate measures. And don't be a slave to Satanism. Stupid word, but we'll go with it. Oh God, this coffee is so ass. I'm so not enjoying this coffee. It's so disappointing. Yeah, absolutely. You know, so basically I'm going to be worried about, like, if you knew they were going to enslave you, would you just sit and be a plebeish slave, or would you be a courageous warrior? Does that make it easier to answer? Flowers, plants, yes, Tom, which I will be planting into large containers. Love it. They will die back in the autumn. Then you chop off the tops and they will regrow in the spring. Win-win plants. Amazing. So are they're what we call perennials, is that right? Yes, RPM Nitro. Thank you for your consistent support. Ah, heart to heart like the flowers. Of course you did. Thank you for the beautiful flowers, Tom. I've been with myself the last one. Oh yeah, of course, I forget that you take 3 days off a week, is it? I forgot all about that. Is it a week that you take 3 days off? I need to remember that rather than... I wasn't panicking. I did a really good job. Like, I really noticed the part of me that wanted to panic, and I just was just like, no, it's fine. If that's the decision she's made, that's the decision she's made. You know, it's not on you to control it or make it part of your... You know, it's nothing to do with you. It's what heart to heart wants to do. Oh, we've already done that. Hey, Bo. Nice to hear, Rachel. What do you think about the woke odyssey? I don't know what it is, mate. You'll have to break it down for me. Riley, love falling asleep with my cat purring next to my ear. Oh, often followed by the deadly rumble of two snoring pit bulls. Oh my God, this is amazing. Oh, Riley. The rumble of two snoring pit bulls who also share my bed. Could never have a man. No room in my bed. What about a brief lick? Oh God, I just think that's so funny. Am I just really immature, or is that as funny as I think? I am only trying to be funny. I have no desire to lick a woman, particularly one that's 34 years old. Not that that's old, but it's just not my thing. So and basically that's because I'm immature, like as if I could connect with a 34-year-old on a relationship level. Like obviously I need to be dating someone around the age of 25 who doesn't know who we are. Anyway, less about my shadow. So love it. I just love it. Right, Riley, can you help me with this irrational fear that I have? It's not irrational because it is based on a past trauma. At the moment, I have let them in the bedroom, but at the moment, I'm kind of not letting them in the bedroom because I'm scared they'll piss on the bed. That's not going to happen, is it? Now, it has happened to me before. But, you know, cats don't piss on your bed, do they? I don't know anything about cats, so this is a genuine question. Can you just help reassure me that they're not going to piss on my bed, and then I will sleep with, certainly with CT7 right next to me. I don't think bees will be interested. Liz, lovely cat, Tom. I have a black cat and a tabby cat. Tabby's a ginger, right? Is that right? Ginger males, is that right? The plan of mice and men, laugh at them. They not real, not really. You are from zero. You go back to zero. And the zero is all, so don't sweat it. Bring it back to, can you remind me what zero is again? I like what you're saying, but I've forgotten what zero means. You had a hater who also paid you money, Tom. Oh, it's in like going back to whether, yeah. So I do think it's hard to know exactly what's him. But I think he did show up one time as one of his characters who made 3 £70 donations because he was so desperate to trick me. And it didn't work. I didn't bring him up. So that obviously killed him. So he stopped doing it after that. I've also got this guy emailing me about a session who's got really demonic energy, and I think it might be him, but he's started emailing me again. I'm like, oh, is this actually him? But the way he shows up is like really entitled and demonic, like making all these demands. Like we've been arranging this session for 2 months now because of his demonic demands, basically, or entitled demands. And then he disappears again for 4 weeks when I put some boundaries in, and then he comes back and tries to change the boundaries again. I don't know why, you know, if it's not the hater, I don't know, it's not, hater's not the right word. If it's not the demon, then I don't know why this man is bothering. Like, I don't know what he thinks he's going to get out of it. And I'm going to tell him straight, like, how entitled and controlling he is and how little I want to spend time with him, because he wants to meet as equals. This is his thing. He doesn't want to meet like this. He wants to meet as equals. And of course, we can meet as equals if you are my equal. But all the evidence suggests that he's definitely not. I mean, it's clear that he's not. So when we meet, I'm going to be quite harsh with him actually, because he's just been awful. I'm going to reflect to him exactly how communicating with him has been for me, and why I'm very uninterested in spending any time with him unless it's in a teacher energy, and that means you need to be open, and everything you've shown so far is that you are closed. So I don't really know what we're doing here, bro, because we're not equals. I have no interest in spending time with you other than to help you, and you don't want help. What we're doing. So I think it's him, but I'm not sure. It might just be an entitled, crazy person. But they've already paid me £50, so. But it's getting to a point. I think the next email I'm going to send him, or the next response I'm going to give him is, bro, like, this is the 20th email I've sent you now, but my admin fee for 20 emails is £50. So if you want the session, let's book the session and send me another £50. Because I've spent loads of time with this guy now. Like, it's just getting ridiculous. Okay. Let's take some big calming breaths after speaking about that one. Plants don't have a central nervous system, so they don't feel pain. I'm not talking about scientific low-level pleb stuff. I'm talking about, vibration and energy. Yeah, good. I know you know I'm kidding. It's all for the entertainment of the plebs. All right, we're at the bottom of the chat, guys. 3 days a month. Right, yeah, when I said it, so heart to hearts, usually it's 3 days a month, but sometimes more. It's not set in stone. Of course it's not, because heart to heart flows beautifully. Yeah, when I said 3 days a week, I was like, that can't be right. That's really a lot. So Heart to Heart has a break from technology every month because she's so wise and heart-based and connected with herself, which is also why she can donate. Watch the latest video on Tom Gray Twits called This Is Why Your Life Sucks. I would love to be able to just use nice, beautiful titles. I mean, maybe that's why my videos are doing crap. Maybe the universe is like, you need to trust more, and you need to stop writing titles based on hate and despair, because that's the only way, because your story is, that's the only way you'll get clicks. So, you write a beautiful, you create a beautiful video about giving, and then you call it, This Is Why Your Life Sucks. So maybe it's time for me to trust and write aligned high vibrational titles, and I'll be rewarded for that. But the evidence that I've received so far is that on YouTube, you have to write negative titles if you want any chance of someone clicking on your video. Not someone, like obviously Heart to Heart is going to not be influenced by that, but you know, sadly, Heart to Heart and her vibration is only shared by 0.01% of humanity. Maybe between that and 1%, I think towards the lower side. So you have to, you know, you have to aim your content at the 98%, and sadly they live in fear, shame, and guilt. So you have to write titles around fear, shame, and guilt. What sessions does Tom do? Is he a apist? So look at that word, break it down, split it into two. You don't want to be going to any of them. I just think it's really interesting that the word we use for somebody who can help someone to heal is the grapist. Now, most of them are university trained. Most of them have learned it out of a book. I mean, psychiatrists are the biggest joke in the world. Like, they've literally just learned about pills. And people think that they know something about the mind. No, no, no. They've just learned how to label someone and give them pills. Therapists, you can get some really good therapists. I've had an amazing person who was classed as a therapist. But if you're classing yourself as a therapist, you've learned it out of a book. You've been to university and you've been told how to therapize someone. They're not doing it from experience. They haven't done the work themselves. Now, of course, you'll find the odd one that has, who uses that word, like I did, and he was amazing. But in general, therapists aren't teaching or way showing through experience. So I'm a shadow worker. I've done 10 years of shadow work. So shadow work is looking at the parts of us that are unconscious, that are playing out in our reality. So the parts of us that are repressing us. You know, it's often called the ego. And what the ego is, it's the part of us that's conscious. It's a part of us that's aware of our existence, and is therefore trying to control our existence. But from a very scared place. It's trying to protect us. It's trying to serve us. And it's the only part of us that has sort of like become aware of this third dimensional existence. I'm not explaining it very well. I'm trying to take it to a new level. I've never explained it to this level, and I'm not doing a very good job. But there's a new depth of understanding in me that I'm now trying to relate to you. So it's obviously going to take a few more attempts to get that right. But right, so what do? I reflect your insanity to you with love and compassion, whilst acknowledging that we're all insane and there's no shame in being insane. So the way you really become, don't use that word, the way you really wake up, the way you really do the spiritual journey, isn't through putting feathers in your ears and wearing nice dresses and going to cacao ceremonies. It's by noticing your insanity. It's by noticing how much you lie to yourself, how deluded you are, through coping, through the fact that you've been attacked physically, mentally, and spiritually from the day you were born, and maybe before that. So we become very defensive and very repressed, and we believe what we think. And what we think is bullshit every time, especially when you haven't done the self-work. So, and what people don't realize is they think the brain is searching for truth. So they think what they believe is true, but really, if you believe anything, it's not true. Like, unless you know, unless you've experienced, it's not true. So belief is the problem straight away. But as long as you're allowing your brain to tell you you know anything, then you're deluded, because all your brain is doing is searching for evidence that reinforces its delusions, reinforces its reality, its knowing. The brain isn't searching for truth. So what I'll do is I'll reflect all that to you. So as you speak, I'll be like, there's a mirror. This is, you know, what your ego's doing. And I'll break it all down for you with love and compassion and no shame. And, you know, I'll use lots of examples where I've done it in my life so you don't feel shamed, because that's the natural response of the ego, is to feel shame when somebody shows you something about yourself you haven't seen. So we try and take all that out of it. We add humor to it. We make it very light. and you go away with all these realizations of what you're doing to yourself. And then you work on that. And then you come back and we go deeper and we go deeper and we go deeper. It's amazing. If you're ready to meet yourself, then it's the best £50 you'll ever spend. But it's not for everyone. It's for those that are ready to meet themselves. I want to switch those lights off, but I think it's premature. Oh, shall we see? Let's just do one for now. I think we learnt this yesterday, but if I do two, it's a bit too fast, a bit too soon. Heart to heart, what are you doing up at this time? Heart to heart, what are you doing up at this time? I didn't expect to see. Yeah, so it has been on my mind. I have to admit, it has been on my mind. I don't think I've been going into it. I don't think I've been worried about it. But if I'm honest, I recognize that today when I started the stream, there was a, oh, this is the wrong time for heart to heart. That came up in my head. So that's how valued you are, heart to heart, and that's. But it's also a sign of, you know, me wanting money, if I'm honest, and I hate to say that, but that is the truth. But it's more than that. It's a love for you and a like wanting you to be here. But of course, the fact that it seems whenever you're here, you chuck 50 euros in. Of course, my ego is aware of that. All right. So a tabby is not ginger. It's only pics of cats I could find. Hence the ginger shows in the comments. I can't see. I don't think you can put pictures in the comments. And if you can, then I never knew that. Psychiatrists are more qualified than GPs. They train as a GP and do 2 extra years in psychiatry, I think. But yes, I agree there. But yeah, I mean, that means nothing. Like, they're more, that just means they're more robotic. They're more demonic. They're more cut off from any sense and any way of helping people, because the longer you spend being trained is just brainwashing, indoctrination. And also it's building up the ego and the status. I've done 7 years, you only did 5 years, I'm better than you. And I'm a psychiatrist. So therefore, when the noticing starts, the ego is so strong. Because not only have they got to accept that, you know, they did this and all the other stuff that everyone else got to accept, they've got to let go of their status. They've got to let go, like they've spent their whole life thinking they're one of the best people in society, one of the most intelligent people in society, and everything's told them that. So to wake up is to acknowledge that actually they're one of the worst people in society. They're one of the most brainwashed, and they're ones that are doing the most damage, along with university lecturers and doctors. Literally the worst people in society, and police. I mean, there's probably a massive list, but they're the main 4 that stand out to me as, you know, people that are most looked up to. They get the most status, and not so much police. But those other 3, they get the most status. So that's what they're used to. And that's how they've defined themselves. So for them to wake up is very challenging. It's like Jim Dandy and Awake and Brave. You know, it's very hard for them to wake up because they've got this hugely high functioning ego that's based on intellect. So, you know, it's a massive crumbling from there, And, you know, it's very unlikely they'll do it. What's this person saying? The Duke of Death. I don't think we know you. I remember an episode when I was 8. I was sleeping. Oh, I think people are talking about sleep paralysis. I remember an episode when I was 8. I was sleeping peacefully when out of nowhere I felt someone blowing hot air in my ear. I woke up in distress and my ear felt warm and unusual. It's a very strange phenomenon, isn't it? I think it's happened to me a couple of times as an adult, but I can't really remember it. But I do remember it happening as a kid and just being terrified. Not to those levels, though. Like for me, it's just for paralysis. I think all I've experienced is for paralysis, and this like panic of like not being able to get out of it. I've never experienced anything spiritual attached to it, or demonic, you might say. Why is this man trying to teach men? I think he needs a good father. Yeah, that's true. I do need a good father figure. I've actually just found one in Lee, and the difference is huge. Anyone who is open to seeing can see that. So not you. The reason I'm not trying to teach people, I am teaching people because I'm very wise and I've got a lot to offer. Let's get rid of you. Everyone was kung fu fighting. What? Demon gone. Caluso! Isn't it funny that a good question to ask yourself, Demon, is why are people asking me questions? Maybe people value my opinion. Deal with it. Deal with the fact that no one asks you any questions and no one values your opinion. That's why you're projecting, because you can't stand the fact that I'm older than I look, but this young man is on here and you've got people like Caruso that are older than him asking him for advice. You can't handle that because no one asks you for advice because no one respects you. What fun it is to be a pleb. Isn't it funny that people freak out or worry about the little things, delivery packages arriving, interviews, bills, or even losing their job? These are tiny things compared to the bigger picture. It's so true. My dad is the best example of this. He has no fears about the fact that we live in tyranny, that democracy doesn't exist, that his grandkids have been poisoned. No fears at all. But if the bin men are 5 minutes late, fucking hell, it's the end of the world. It's just amazing. Like the tiny things that he focuses on. Because he doesn't want to notice the bigger things. You know, this is how the ego works. This is how the ego protects us. It stops us seeing the bigger picture. So it is protecting, because if my dad saw the bigger picture, he'd jump under a bus. There's no way he'd be able to handle it. There's just no way he'd be able to hold it. So it is actually keeping him alive. Like, you know, you can actually honor this from a, you know, very art-hardened perspective. You know, my dad has been kept alive by worrying about, honestly, the bins are the main focus of his week. Like he counts down the days to bin day. He gets up to watch the bin men. I don't know if he still does this. He might have calmed down a bit. And then the other thing he does is, whenever an emotion comes up, he starts hitting himself. And my mum thinks it's just the way he was born. Yeah, so this is how desperate the ego is to stop you from seeing. You know, it will make you hit yourself. Or Tourette's is another great example. Heart to hearts. Big love, Tom. I see you exactly as you are. I know you do. Heart to hearts. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me and still supporting me. Riley, the ones I have met think they are superior. What are we talking about here? Oh, yeah, doctors. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the university system all over. You know, not only does it brainwash you, it tells you you're better than everyone else. And it blows smoke up your arse. It gives you status. So these bots come out thinking they're better than everyone else, which is why you get a lot of, you're uneducated, you're stupid, gammon. And of course, it's very easy for them to make that story because the working class do appear to a middle-class person that's been through university, they do appear to be stupid. And they speak without articulation in many cases, of course, not all cases. But actually, they've not been brainwashed and they're not stupid. They just haven't learned how to speak in an intellectual manner. But they're not stupid. They're far from it. They're the ones that can see. They're the ones that voted for Brexit. Not that voting means anything, but you know, they're the ones that you know would if their way was acknowledged, then we wouldn't live in Pakistan. Sleep paralysis fascinates me, though I would rather not experience it. I watch things about it, and people often see a hag woman or a hat man. Yeah, I'm not into that. I'm not into that. I just, once again, Miley, I agree with every single word that you've just written there. Absolutely fascinating. Not for me. Thank you. Yeah, cognitive dissonance saves lives. Like, this is really true. Like, and you've got to honor this. You know, you've got to honor your coping mechanisms. They're keeping you alive. As I said to APV the other night when he was 5 sellers in and really struggling, like, good, like, you know, don't shame it. It's keeping you alive right now. You're surviving. Like, surviving is very commendable. Like, it's amazing that my dad has got through life with the energy of a 4-year-old child. You know, he's in his 80s now. He's about to, you know, he's about to complete it. I'm pretty sure he'll get sent back because he didn't do a very good job. But he's about to complete it. He's about to do it. And I have huge respect for that. I think anyone that gets through this life, I think that's a massive achievement. I think from a soul perspective, you know, let's go with this love and light story that we signed a contract, which is obviously all like them trying to control it through their human understanding, trying to project their human nonsense onto it. I mean, the fact that we use the word soul contract, con. We use the demonic language of the reptilians to describe our soul journey. That shows how conditioned we are and how much we want to try and understand it from our human perspective when it's way beyond our human perspective. But, you know, there's this notion that many people hold that basically, you know, there's, oh God, I can't remember what you called it, but, you know, your soul family looking down on you, cheering you on. And, you know, I'm sure it's all bollocks. But, you know, if you just come from like, imagine a soul watching this and what a shit show it is. You know, they'd be so impressed that you even get to the end. Like from a soul point of view, assuming that they live in some sort of ethereal realm of beauty, you know, this is diabolical. I mean, I love it. I think it's great. Like, it's also really beautiful. But it's, but you know, in general, most people's experiences are pretty diabolical. My dad's experience has been diabolical. Whilst he did live, whilst also on a 3D level, it's been amazing. He was born in the best time to be born, 2 years after World War II. 44, I think, or 45, or 47 maybe. I think he might be born in 47. And so the best time economically, well, he totally fucked that up because he didn't take any risks. Like, he was in the generation where you could buy a house for £2 and be a millionaire 20 years later. Didn't buy any houses. What an artard. Just worked and focused on his pension his whole life. So he was born in an era where it was harder to not be a millionaire than it was to be a millionaire, and he managed to not be a millionaire. He's lived his whole life in fear and repression, but he's also got an amazing wife who mothers him. She does wear the trousers and tell him what to do, but he needs that because he's a 4-year-old boy. But she also lets him go out to play whenever he wants. Like, he can go to away games where he can travel across the country, he can do whatever he wants. She doesn't stop that. So yeah, in many ways, he's lived a really good life. Like, from a normal perspective, he's lived a really good life, especially seeing as he's a 4-year-old boy. He's done really well. But from a spiritual perspective, it's been an absolute shit show. Love you, Dad, if you're watching. I don't think you are. I doubt he watches my lives. That'd be way too much for him. He watches English Refugee. Bless him. My last contact with my dad, I don't know if we'll ever speak again, to be honest, because there's just no point. But that's said with love and no problem. Well, I was speaking to my mum on video, and he comes over her shoulder and he goes, "Up the hours, up the hours, up the hours." And I went, "Yeah, it's looking good, isn't it, Dad?" "Up the hours, up the hours, up the hours," and then scuttled off. And I'm like, honestly, if that's all you can manage, like, me and my mum were having quite a deep conversation. And I'm like, if that's all you can manage, then I'm just not putting any energy into it. And I send that with love. There's no like, ugh, there's none of that. There's just like, what's the point? Until I hear he's about to die, then I'll speak to him. But it's interesting because actually when I was living with them, it was my dad over my mum that I could actually have proper conversations with. You know, if you actually pin him down and don't let him escape and tell him about the Them Every Time Club, he can understand it. He'll let go of it as soon as he leaves, and he'll go back to watching the BBC and going, "Oh, that was a good speech by Keir Starmer." I imagine he's loving Andy Burnham's latest speeches. But he could actually get, like, if you try to do that with my mum, she gets to a place of like, But my dad doesn't. Like, my dad can listen and seems to be able to understand, even though he forgets straight away. But then, like, I think because of that is why he pretends to be even more art-harder than he actually is. So I think this, bearing in mind he's a blade, he's not even an owl. I think that's him making sure that I don't take him deep. Because he's experienced going deep with me before, and he doesn't want to do it again, because he does actually start to realize, and that the last thing he wants to do is realize 5 years before he's about to die. You know, he's very much, so when I do take him there, and when he does start to understand a few concepts, his response is, "What can I do? I'm going to be dead in 5 years." And my response is, I totally agree. I'm not trying to change you. I'm just telling you the truth. And then I say, but there is, you know, some grandchildren that you claim to love. You know, maybe you could try and stop your daughter from poisoning them. Maybe. Oh, yeah. He doesn't even respond to that. He can't even respond to that because he can't do it. Because he's just going to watch his grandchildren get poisoned, so he'd rather pretend that it's not poison. Oh, plebs, they're so funny. So I don't know who this is. My old man was born still kicking. I don't think I can speak into that. It sounds interesting though. I think it's about sleep paralysis still. Ludwig is in the house. Lots of love for Ludwig, the writer. There are a bunch of the grapists at work, and none of them are impressive. Yeah, totally. They've all learned out of a book. It's got to be experience. It's got to be shadow work. They don't know what they are doing. Their lazy reliance on trite language is so silly, plonkers. Yeah, I mean, most of them are libtards. They're just doing it out of a book. Heart to Heart has got a cat joke for us. I really hope it's funny and I don't have to pretend to laugh, because I will do it because Heart to Heart has paid me so much money. So that is ego. So my ego still does have some control. I noticed myself, I can't remember who it was, but I noticed myself pretending to laugh at a comment the other day because somebody had chucked a 5 beer. But I didn't really think it was funny. So I hope I don't have to do that with you, Heart to Hearts. They feed me, shelter me, and love me. They must be gods, a cat's prayer. Oh, that's a dog's prayer. A dog's prayer. Oh, this is going to be good. They feed me, shelter me, and love me. They must be gods. A cat's prayer. They feed me, shelter me, and love me. I must be God. It's fantastic. I don't see it as a joke. I see it more as a parable. No, not a parable. That's too strong. A simile, a story. Just a very amusing truth. It's really good, Heart to Heart. It's really good. A dog's prayer. They feed me, shout me, and love me. They must be gods. I must be God. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'd go with a cat on this one. As in my ego would, obviously, as people can see, I think I'm an enlightened guru when I'm just a spastic child. So I'm more in the cat category. Oh, DMS, yeah, this guy's on it. The Duke of Death is on it. DMS 5, isn't it 5-0 or something like that? DMSO, or maybe he's talking about something different. Oh, it's just a bunch of lies. Hang on, I think we're talking about something else. I don't know what DMS 5 is. It's a bunch of lies. They make it all up. They make up all of these mental health diseases in order to pump, in order to pump those pills to children. So this guy's on it, or this person's on it. I don't know what they're referring to, but you could replace that with ADHD, neurodivergent, all of these stupid labels they've made. The best one is that, fibromyalgia, where somebody's so traumatized and so repressed that they're starting to feel it as physical pain. So they give them this title of fibromyalgia, which basically means we don't know. And then people are like, I've got fibromyalgia. I can be a victim and wear this label and never do any sort of work now. Oh, thank God for that. And it's always like fat, blue-haired, repressed people. So yeah, I totally agree. All of these, I think autism is potentially a real thing, but also I think that, it's potential just enlightenment, as in like they have a no bullshit filter. But yeah, all this new stuff, neurodivergent. I mean, ADHD is obviously just the hunter of the tribe, is the one that's alive, is the person with energy, the one that hasn't been completely shut down and repressed by the system. So yeah, they can stick their pills up their arse along with their labels, and they can go fuck. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? Caluso. What's that from? It's Cavonia, an advert, isn't it? For some mouth poison when you can just use baking soda and water, which is way cheaper and doesn't poison you and works even better. Honestly, guys, any mouth infections, baking soda and water, unbelievable. It's crazy, Tom. People like your dad, so old, yet no desire to find the real truth. It's amazing, but it's also totally understandable because it's very scary. The truth is really scary at first. And then it does set you free. It really does set you free. It set me free, but it took 10 to 15 years. It amazes me. Maybe not naught desire, maybe thrown into chaos and confusion and struggling to find their way out. I think it is naught desire where my dad's concerned, and where that generation is concerned, where that level of consciousness is concerned. It is naught desire. And I think what you might be saying in the last bit of that comment is basically, the only way what they will awaken is through absolute chaos and tyranny. That is true, but I think that's also true for you and me. It's certainly my experience. If I hadn't have experienced any bad things in my life, this is why I say that everything's meant to be, even if it's going to jail. If I hadn't have experienced any bad things in my life, I would be an absolute plebeian. I'm just going to switch this light off. Because why would you do the work if everything's going well? People who don't know that, they don't realize how powerful the ego is. Like how good it is at tricking you. You know, you're never going to see it until it's like glaringly obvious in front of you. So what I spoke about in the lives last night when I lost the cats, and I had to, you know, I noticed all the stories coming up of like, I made a good enough barrier. Why has this happened? I can't believe they've done that. Like trying to blame the cats. And then I, you know, through the utter humiliation of having to ring up the people that I'd adopted them off and say, I've lost your cats, like less than 24 hours after having them. I had to see how my ego was making up stories that I would not have seen if it wasn't for that utter humiliation. Just to clarify, I didn't actually lose the cats if you didn't watch yesterday's live stream, but for 3 hours, I thought I'd lost the cats. And that was like 12 hours after getting them. But really, they were just hiding in a very hidden place. Rachel, sleep paralysis. I had all of it, including mini naked skeletons. Oh my God. Of course you did, Rachel. Do you think it's a reflection of your insanity? I'm joking. I'm open to it. I'm kind of joking. You know, it's an offering, but it's not a knowing. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if the more mental one is, the more mental what they see in sleep paralysis is, because the external is always a reflection of your internal. But I'm not speaking from experience here. I haven't experienced sleep paralysis enough to know. She's had it all, including mini naked skeletons jumping up my body, being dragged out of bed and sent flying around the room. For fuck's sake. If it was going to happen to anyone, it was, of course, going to happen to Rachel. Oh, Rachel, I love you. So I'm pretty sure this is a disgusting one. We'll give him a chance. That's why I drink every night. Oh, no, that's Rachel. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a disgusting one, but we'll give him a chance. He hasn't demoned all over the chat yet, but he will do because he can't do anything else. Even if they dabble, sorry, I think this is speaking about people like my dad. Even if they dabble with the truth, they treat it they treat it like just another TV show, not really their reality. Wow, yeah, that's Spen, you're really good. Okay, yeah. He didn't last long. Everyone was kung fu fighting. As soon as I see that, why did I give him a chance, man? Like he's proved what he is time and time over again. I think it's funny. Technology is no doubt related to these episodes. What we're talking about episodes. They made these devil's devices. Oh. All right. So I think he's talking about sleep paralysis. Technology is no doubt related to these episodes. They made the devices. Very good. Because that is, you know, language is always pointing at stuff like this. English particularly. I don't know about others, maybe others as well. In order to enslave us all, demons live on your screens and they all act as scrying mirrors. Can you tell us what scrying mirrors are, please? I like this person. I like this comment. I think they know stuff that I don't know. I'm really intrigued and want to learn more from this person. Right, so the devil's on the screen thing, I want you to speak, demons in the screen, I want you to speak more into that, because I really think there's something in it. You know, they didn't release a whole series called Black Mirror for no reason. It was all about dystopian demonic shit that's now our reality. Remember when you were watching that and you were like, whoa, imagine if this was the case. And then 5 years later, it was suddenly the case. Lol. Yeah, so I often fall asleep to a YouTube video. Not, you know, obviously I'm not watching it. I'm just listening to somebody talk about some Greek philosopher. And I can feel, and I did speak about these, they're not actual Alan Watts videos, but, you know, someone who's taken Alan Watts videos and they seem to pop up a lot. So, you know, when YouTube just plays the next video and decides what it is, well, this one comes up a lot. An Alan Watts video with this over it. So it could just be that some fat bastard is sat too close to the camera or the microphone, or it could be a demon. And I'm really glad you said this, mate, because there's no doubt that the next stage, or one of the many next stages for me, is falling asleep in silence. One, because of the beauty of silence and stillness and presence, but two, because of what you're talking about. Give us more information, oh wise one. All right, let me just sip the kettle. Ass. Oh, I could put some honey in it. That would make it taste less like ass. Okay, let's put some honey in the next one. Remind me to put honey in the next one, please, people. Oh, I'm not even going to drink the last third of it. It is complete ass. I can notice the one that is the part of me that is conditioned into scarcity and lack. You could call it Scrooge mentality, but it's really scarce. It comes from the story of scarcity and lack, which is obviously nonsense. Oil recreates itself. Oil is never ending, for example. This earth is completely abundant and can completely support the minuscule amount of people that's on it, compared to its abundance. But I can notice a part of me that's like, oh, you can't throw away a third of the coffee. Yes, I fucking can, and it tastes of fucking ass, and I love myself. I don't care about 0.5 pence. It's going down the sink because it tastes of ass. And I'm far too good to be drinking coffee that tastes of ass over fucking half a penny. You silly pleb parts of me. You silly repressed parts of me. You silly egoic parts of me that still worry about money and don't realize that the universe is going to reflect your beauty and your nature and your destiny around abundance through other incredibly beautiful beings like Heart to Heart. And Debbie and Rachel and all the others that donate on a regular basis. Now, I'm not sure if Rachel is actually a donator or if she was just paying for a session through the donations. We'll find out. Alrighty then. It's a very slow kettle. I guess I might as well have this play on one of my YouTube videos. I should probably concentrate on my life, but I'm obsessed with watching my own videos. Not watching them, but just making sure that all 4 of my channels, yes, I have 4, but you only know about 3. All 4 of my channels have watched all of my videos, so it's quite an admin task. Also, it's my ego and it's me not trusting, so it is ridiculous. But anyway, I've just done that. Oh my God, why is this knobhead on my screen? As if we're giving him analytics. Oh my God, I just liked this live stream and it was a cat face. Guys, you've got to like the stream for your own experience. If you hit that like button, it will turn into a cat. It's amazing. It's so cool. You need to see it. Hit the like button. And send me money. And share it with a friend. What's this one? Oh, it's at Rachel. Closer. Yes, great point, Tom. Many people are also encouraged not to try and become great, avoiding the rock bottom inevitability moment in life. That moment where it is just you alone with nothing. I laugh because it's perfect. I love you. What does Heart to Heart think from her very wise, enlightened place about sleep paralysis? Sleep paralysis is how I began my journey, which led to astral projection without any plant medicine or psychedelics. It's tricky and deceptive astral realm. Beautiful. So it's, yeah, obviously it's going to be part of a spectrum because everything in life is. So it seems from Heart to Heart's evidence gathering experience, the spectrum is sleep paralysis and astral projection, and they're on the same spectrum. So this will really stroke the egos of everyone who's experiencing sleep paralysis, because actually you're experiencing part of the spectrum of astral projection, which of course, if you're egoic, you'll be absolutely desperate to experience. Because I say that probably as a projection because I've never experienced it, if I'm honest. That's probably actually why I'm slagging it off. I'm not slagging it off. I totally respect astral projection and lucid dreaming, which I kind of put in the same category because I haven't experienced either, so I don't know. But there's definitely some wanting to do it down because I haven't experienced it. I just want to acknowledge that egoic part of me and show it to you all. In the hope that you will start to be able to do that for yourself, or it will help you enhance that, or it will, yeah, it doesn't matter about the haters. So I've acknowledged that. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, that, yeah, and then in the Love and Light scene, so the spiritual pretenders, they're obsessed with this sort of stuff. And I imagine someone like Rachel will be obsessed with this sort of stuff as well, because it's like, it comes from the trying to grasp onto spirituality when you don't have the evidence, when you don't know, when you don't have a connection. You try to go for these peak experiences that will prove to others more than yourself, which is obviously part of the problem, that you are wise and enlightened. So there's all that going on, but then there's also the truth that Heart to Heart has experienced and is sharing with us, that actually, sleep paralysis and astral projection are actually part of the same spectrum, the same genre, and it's just, you have to experience it from this side to get to this side, I imagine. You have to experience the dark to experience your light. It's going to be exactly the same. Oh my God, of course they are. I don't know about it, but of course they are. It's obvious. So we're waiting for more information on this skying thing and the whole, no, you're not going to, no, you're not leaving me, no, you're my little CT7, you don't need to run away. NCS, it seems like you are incapable of actually, so that's because you can't. This is a projection. So I'm so clearly capable of engaging with criticism. I'm so clearly able to, as I just did, acknowledge my shadow, show my shadow. The problem is, mate, is I am very wise and enlightened, and you're just going to have to accept that. So because you're not, you're going to project this onto me, and you're not going to see how good I am at taking accountability and how openly I do that. But I am doing it from a very wise place. So to a pleb like you, it's you either need to accept that I'm way wiser than you, and therefore you have a lot of self-work to do, or you can make up a silly story like this. But I love criticism, but I don't accept it from retards and plebs, and I will just reflect back to you your insanity, because that's what it is. I'm just being honest and true, and that's the reason you watch NTS, because you like honesty and truth, unless it's directed at you. But I will always direct it at people who need it, and accept that you'll unsubscribe and spaz out, and that's great. No, I love criticism. I love reflection. I mean, all you need to do is go on my channel called Tom Greatorex and watch the videos with me and Lee where I'm letting him pull me apart on camera. I mean, if you had eyes to see, you would see me doing it myself, pulling myself apart on camera. But I also honor myself. I also recognize the beautiful bits, which are many. So you'll really struggle with that because you don't have any beautiful bits and you can't acknowledge them. You do have beautiful bits, but you can't acknowledge them. So this is why you're projecting this silly story that you've made up. Oh God, is this a safe space for you? Yeah, it's a very safe space for anybody who wants to experience themselves. You don't want to experience yourself, so we're going to delete and ban you because this space isn't designed for artards. I do hope you have your awakening soon, and I hope you can join us one day. But right now, this space is not for you because it is a safe space, and because we don't let artards in. Apart from Sophie. But if you don't give Sophie attention, she soon F's off. As you can see, she's only here for attention. No, I don't often. I do sometimes, and I've had periods where I have consistently. But right now, I fall asleep to a wise YouTube video. But actually, this has already started shifting, and this chat we're having now is just going to complete that shift. I think 2 of the last 4 nights I have fallen asleep in silence. Now, there is also the issue with I live in Southeast Asia. So sometimes falling asleep in silence just isn't an option. Now, where I live in Cambodia, so that's one of the best parts of Southeast, well, probably the best part of Southeast Asia. But in terms of noise, I think it comes second to Laos in terms of quietest, but still Southeast Asia. And then there's also the design of my flat and the bedroom, and the fact that it has these big glass doors. So even if there is a bit of external noise, often I won't hear it in the bedroom. But sometimes it's not an option for me to fall asleep in silence, as in there'll be a faint boom, 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 boom. Just the worst noise ever, the worst vibration ever. If you listen to that sort of music, then, oh dear, you've got a lot of work to do. Then I have to cover it up with something more high vibrational. But I don't think a YouTube video is actually high vibrational. Everything, Stacker, everything. Heart to Rachel. The astral realm is very dark in my, yeah, so this is the thing, like you get all these baby spiritualists desperate to experience this, but actually they have no idea what they're taking on. Like, you know, there's going to be, yeah, let's let Heart to Heart tell us. The astral realm is very dark in my observations. I managed to break through the binary code and married myself and became one with everything. What an inspiration. Yeah, so Heart to Heart knows that everything is one and is serving the light, and it's all one, and it's all as beautiful as each other. Like, you know, like as in like the jail, the business breakdown, the demonic stalker, all served me. You know, they were all helping me shine my light. So it's all beautiful. The tyranny in the UK, you could put into that category as well. And obviously I appreciate the other side where it's not beautiful, but I'm just speaking into this side right now. So try not to get too triggered. If all you can see is darkness. So of course, to fully, you know, to merge to the level that Heart to Heart has, and to be, you know, in such oneness, you could also call it presence and stillness, beauty and love, then one will have had to have integrated all the darkness to get to that level of light, to get to that level of balance. So integrate all the darkness, acknowledge all the darkness, accept all the darkness to experience the light, and then integrate to balance. And that's, you know, terrifying until you realize it's all one and it's all serving itself anyway, and it's all beautiful, and you merge with everything. So intellectually, I understand what Heart to Heart is saying. Experientially, I think I'm getting there. You know, I've stopped seeing demons as negative. I've stopped seeing, you know, the tyranny as negative. I've started seeing how it's all in service to oneness. But it's intellectual, you know. I can still, well, no, it's not. I mean, it's showing up in my life because I'm just laughing all the time and smiling all the time. So it's definitely showing up in my life. But I don't think it's quite as embodied and my way of walking as it is for Heart to Heart's. Heart to Heart. Sorry, I don't know why I struggle with your name so much. At least we've got away from of. I'm now just adding an S on the end, so I'll work on that. Can I send links via the chat? I have a, yeah, of course. I won't stop you putting any links in. Share away. Ludwig, I can't give any more to the people at work. Just the fact that you're even turning up there every day and getting through it, mate, without topping yourself is more than enough, I would say. I am utterly drained and exhausted by them. I don't want to see any of them again for at least a month. Yeah, I mean, mate, I'm amazed you can do it. And I also acknowledge that, like, out of survival, one will do, you know, I mean, just look at what the people do here. There's 85-year-old women picking up bits of cardboard to survive. So, of course, you can do it. And, of course, you will do it if you have to survive. I just can't wait for the day where your life starts reflecting your beauty back to you, Ludwig. More than it is doing now. I'm sure it is already. But and you're no longer in this repressive environment because you're way too good for it. What are you hanging on to? What parts of what do you need to trust more in yourself to get out of this situation? You know, and that could be practical, as in, like, I need to become a lighter and earn the money. But what is stopping you from it? Like, what is the energetic attachments here? Because you're way too good for this. And the fact that you're feeling utterly drained and exhausted by them, this is coming to a head. This is coming to an end. This is about to transform if you lean in. What is stopping you breaking out of this? What is the story? Why are you having to do this to yourself? Because it's definitely not meant to be your, it's not your dharma. It's a teaching. You're going through this to really break through some repressive layers which are showing up externally in this awful job and become a much more aligned version of yourself that I imagine makes money from writing books. And that seems very obvious to me. Obviously, I could be wrong, and it's not how you're part of your dharma, but I'd be amazed. I mean, it clearly is. Oh, Alice is growing some beetroot. I have 2 beetroot seedlings now, potted, and putting beet seeds to make some more now. Thank you for your inspiration. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that that's come out of this chat. And I love that people are sharing things like that. And yeah, I love that, Alice. That's amazing. Colossal. Have you ever experienced being targeted? No matter what job I do, people make up rumors about me, and genuinely it feels like managers are trying to get me sacked. Workplace demons are annoying. I'm not going to make myself as much, I'm not going to get into the victim story enough to ever believe that I'm being targeted. However, I do acknowledge that the more your light shines, the more the demons come for you. And also what seems to be happening here is you've tried to repress yourself by working, because it is repression. Having a job is repression. It's repression playing out in the external. It's your internal repression playing out in the external. So obviously you're past that. You're too good for that. But in times of deep fear and lack of trust, you've gone backwards. You've acted out of fear, and the universe has just gone, no. We're going to make it absolute hell for you. We're going to make all the managers target you. We're going to get you sacked because you're not meant to be here. And we've already shown you this, and you're being stupid. So here's your stupidity playing out as hatred and targeting. But so yes and no. I totally understand your perspective, and from your perspective, it is true. The demons will attack the light, but also they're just serving you, bro. They're just serving you. They're just making sure you don't abuse yourself by trying to get a job. CT7 just peeps out of a cushion on the sofa, then bombed out, and now the other one is doing it cute. Oh, that's amazing. I love these cats. Oh, they're so annoying, but they're so lovable. They're not annoying, they're great. Tom, I am not obsessed. It just happens to me. You never had it, so don't criticize me. And love, you haven't got a clue. So Rachel's getting defensive again. Her ego's getting defensive. I have experienced it, and I am right. Of course, a baby spiritual soul is desperate to have these peak experiences and prove to themselves that they're enlightened. It was only 2 weeks ago you were writing in the chat you were enlightened. So don't lie to yourself, Rachel. Stop being silly, Rachel. Rachel needs a little silly slap. You're doing well. Now you're going back to being silly. We've already done this RP, Nadja. Heart to heart. Rachel, just let it go. Tom clearly said he has no experience in it. You do you. There you go. Yeah, I did clearly say I have no experience in it, actually, and then I just contradicted it. Oops. But I have experienced sleep paralysis, not astral traveling. Everything I've reflected to Rachel, I think, is spot on. But also, it doesn't matter. Just let it go, as Heart to Heart says. But also, learn. Oh, I love the plebs so much. They're so cute. Especially the ones that are trying. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. This has just occurred. I've just smashed my speaker. It's all right. It was only a cheap one from Indonesia. And I very rarely use it. Now I've got a TV. I don't use it at all. And it flashes fucking LED lights. Like, oh my God, it's such an art speaker. But all speakers are now. Like, can you even buy a speaker without flashing lights anymore? I don't think so. You can't even buy a charger without a blue light now. I mean, it's just getting insane. But then we do live in an insane world, so it's not really that shocking, is it? This is what happens when you live in a world run by shape-shifting lizards, it seems. Which is always good fun. Think about it though, if it is this soul journey thing, if it is some sort of soul school or whatever it is, whatever, the majority of, love and lighters think, this is exactly how you design it. You'd want the computer game to be completely crazy. You'd want like the hardest bosses that you have to defeat. How boring would it be if we were just like peasants in a field every day? From a computer game perspective. Like, as if you'd want to play, what computer game do you want to play? Do you want to play the one where you have to shoot loads of zombies, or do you want to play the one where you plant crops? Like, of course, the majority are going to choose the zombies. Well, hiya. Hello, 3D reality. Of course, this is what you choose. We haven't had a donation for a while, which isn't a big problem because, Heart to Hearts has done her thing. But, yeah, we definitely need a bit more. So I'll go on to at least 2 hours, so another 9 minutes. But yeah, I feel like I need some more money if we are going to. So I'm pretty sure he's come back. He's just. How can anyone who creates multiple profiles, who spends their time they're so disempowered, they're so jealous of YouTubers. Like, they would so love to be a YouTuber, because obviously no one's ever listened to these people their whole lives. So it probably started with their parents. The reason they're so repressed and so retarded is because they've got a huge rejection wound from their parents. Their parents didn't even listen to them. So therefore, they obviously play out this wound into their adulthood, and nobody ever listens to them. They get no respect, they get no attention, because they are disgusting people. And then obviously YouTubers, they just can't stand them, because they get everything that they don't get. And so therefore they become these hating demons. But like, when it gets to a stage where your whole life is making profiles so you can jump on a YouTuber's live stream and get deleted in 30 seconds. Now, why does that taste so much better? Because I didn't put honey in it. What's going on? That tastes so much better. Now, I brewed it for longer. Maybe that's what it is. Wow, that actually tastes nice. That's bizarre. It's the same coffee. It must be because I actually let it brew rather than using my fork to make it faster. I'm so enlightened and present and zen. Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? And they don't see that there's a potential problem there. That maybe they're not in the right here. It's a horrible sentence because right doesn't exist, but they're somehow better than the person that they're criticizing. When the person that they're criticizing is showing up in love and wanting to help people and humor that triggers people. And they're just showing up in nothing but hate. Billy Bramwell is a great example in my comment section. I haven't banned him because he's just so funny. Like, his hatred is so strong, it's so funny. And now it's got to a point where I love, so he comments on my live streams and you can just, I don't really love it. Like, I'd much rather him love himself, but bearing in mind that he's, a demon and that's just where he's at. I love the thought of him watching my live streams and screwing every time somebody donates something, like just going mental. Because you can see it in his comments. Like, he just can't stand it, because obviously he's never received anything, and he's had to work. He's had to repress himself to receive whatever he's received, i.e., be an office worker. So he just can't stand seeing someone creating their own existence. Like, he just can't stand it. So he'll watch something like this and only make negative comments, as in like make out that I'm a bullshitter, basically. And his comments are like basically, so he'll watch me like openly share my shadow and openly acknowledge my ego, and then make out like I'm an egoic person who can't see my ego when the whole live stream was being me exposing my ego. It's so amusing. But really, really that's how it makes me feel. Whilst they don't affect me and I've let go of it all, any attachment to people's opinions, It does sadden me. Overall, it saddens me because obviously I want the best for everyone, which is why I do this. And of course to earn the shekels, but it's why I choose to earn the shekels in an aligned manner, because I'm much more interested in service than shekels. And once you become aligned, the shekels just come to you through your service. Every time you say Caluso, I do a little dance by the way. Oh, well, I'm definitely not going to stop. So isn't that interesting? But the first comment that I thought, okay, we've done the Caluso thing now. I'm going to stop doing that, and I'm just going to read it. He tells me that he does a dance every time I go, Caluso. So obviously, it's never going to stop now. Every time you say Caluso, I do a little dance, by the way, giggle with my fingers pointed at the sky. That's just so amazing. It could get a bit tiresome now, because now you've told me that, I might just start shouting out random Calusos. Hey man, I'm 30 minutes into your English refugees in Cambodia, so this must be a Patreon member. Brilliant conversation, just popped in to say that. Glad you are well. Oh, bless you, and thank you for your support. I wonder if you use a different name on Patreon, because I don't feel like I recognize you. But thank you for your support, and I'm really glad you're enjoying the Cambodia videos, and thanks for popping in. Lovin'. I fell asleep in your 5-hour live and woke up to hearing, right guys, it's been 5 hours. I was so confused. Brilliant. Closer. I love it. That's so funny. I'll get the cat. I'll get me pussy out again, don't worry. We'll stroke me pussy again. Oh, there's no beef. I don't have any beef because I'm not in competition. He has beef with me because he lives in competition and scarcity and from the ego. So I just acknowledge what he is, but I don't, I don't care. I love him. I want the best for him. But I use him as the perfect example of the spiritual ego. Somebody who hasn't actually done the work, who is very intellectual, who has read a lot and has a lot of knowledge, and he's also experienced a lot. He's traveled a lot, so he can fool people. He can fool himself. He's fooled himself. He thinks he's enlightened, and therefore he can fool others. But once you actually become somewhere near enlightened, as I am, or well on that journey, you totally see through him. And the reason I feel justified in using him is because he made some videos about me. So I'm more than happy to meet him in this energy. But really, I'm not triggered by the fact he made videos about me. I don't care what he thinks. His opinion means nothing to me, just like everyone else's, other than a few people like Heart to Heart or Lee. I would actually care what they think. Because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be doing the work, because they can see from a higher perspective than I can. Whereas he can't. So his opinion means nothing to me. But I don't wish him any malice or anything like that. As humans go, I quite respect him. I think he's quite an interesting character. But I'm bored of it. I'm bored of the show. I don't watch anymore because it's just a show. He's lying to himself, and therefore he's lying to everyone else. And you will get to a stage where you totally see through it. He hasn't done any work. He hasn't met himself. He's still running scared. And he's just living in spiritual stories. You don't want to know. He's just a crap YouTuber. And he's not a crap YouTuber. You won't get anything from it. I enjoyed him when I was still in hatred, because he rants, because he rips his audience apart more than I do. And from a more angry place than me. You know, because he's actually really triggered by the fact that no one watches his videos and no one comments on his videos, because he thinks he's the most enlightened man on this planet, and he can't understand why people aren't watching his videos. So I used to watch him. The hatred in me used to enjoy the hatred in him, but now there isn't any hate, or there isn't much hatred in me, so I can't enjoy his hatred. So I don't think he'll do anything for you, Riley. You certainly won't learn anything from him. I call him the asleep pussy, because he's not awakened and he's not both. He's the opposite of those things. He's using his intellect and his high-functioning ego to protect himself from actually feeling anything and doing the work. I'm getting there after years of dark confusion, have done a lot of difficult work personally and with old family crap. Appreciate your videos, man. Cheers from Ireland always. Yeah, fantastic, mate. Good on you. You're doing it. you're doing it. And this is, you know, it's always dark at first, and there's always loads of family crap to deal with. But soon you'll realize that, you know, they had to deal with the same crap. You might have a different story as such, but the same crap. And they were just doing their best, and you'll be able to forgive them, and all will be fine. And then you'll you know, start to move from darkness to light. So just keep going. You're doing it. Well done. And I'm glad that my videos assist you in whatever way they do. That's why I make them. Particularly the Tom Greatrex ones. I mean, we're at the point where financially Tom Greatrex is pointless. You know, I'm getting 500 views a video, which is $2. So the only reason to make Tom Greatrex videos is to help people. And I must be honest, it did come up in me yesterday when I was, you know, spending 8 hours editing. Like, why am I doing this? Why don't I just make English Refugee and Not Today Satan videos? Because they serve me. But actually, the Tom Greatrex videos serve me as well. They're like journaling. You know, I see myself in those videos, as in I see my repressed parts in those videos. And often in the videos, I'll have an aha moment as I'm recording the video, because I'm speaking into it and seeing it. So they actually serve me. So when that story came up, it was soon dismissed, because it was like, yeah, but that's not your purpose. That's not you trusting. That's you being in. I didn't have to go into all this, but this is what happened in a split second, and why I dismissed it. You know, that's acting out of scarcity. That's acting out of fear. That's acting out of selfishness. Whereas I truly, it's not believe, I know that if I act for my purpose, I will see that reflected in my external. You could call it rewarded, but that brings in connotations of a man on the cloud taking notes and rewarding, you know, it's just ridiculous. So it's actually reflected in your external. And I know, I don't know this, I believe that the reason that channel is struggling so much is, well, on a 3D level, it's because I changed the name to something that YouTube hates. But the reason I really did that, the reason that really happened, is because I have to go through this. I have to go through this solidification of commitment to purpose and people. You know, do I really want to serve people, or is it still my ego wanting clicks? Well, the ego came up in that moment, and the ego told me that, oh my goodness, she obviously likes what I'm saying right now. The ego told me to stop serving people and focus on what serves me from a purely material standpoint, because that's the only standpoint the ego can understand from. And let's just call it the higher version of me, but really it's just the bigger, more authentic version of me that's not the ego. Dismiss that, knowing that true service to self will come through my purpose anyway, because both are completely interlinked. I imagine Heart to Heart agrees, because as I was saying, what I think was fairly epic depth and wise. That was an awful sentence. I think I just shared some deep wisdom there. Now, of course, it could just be my ego telling me that and it was all nonsense, but I'm pretty sure it was deep wisdom. Heart and Hearts was just like, 20. Thank you, Heart to Heart. You are just so loving and amazing. And thank you for confirming my knowing. This is so true. Growing food is so healing. I you know, what you say is to focus the will. Also, it's just like a beautiful aligned hobby that, you know, gets you into nature. And then there's all the vibrations and stuff. But I think there's also something about, and someone did put it in the chat, and they spoke into it in way more depth than I can, because it's their thing. But something about, you know, oh yeah, I think it was Lee actually. But you know, it's basically scientifically proven, not that you should need that, but many people do. That if you grow something, it will grow the nutrients that you need. You know, it knows you, it connects with you, it's part of you, everything is one. But, you know, even if you see it as a separate thing, if you're growing a lettuce, it will grow and balance its nutrients based on your deficiencies. And it's just incredible. It's incredible. Everyone needs to be growing their own food. It's incredible. You don't have to explain yourself to Tom or anyone else. You are on your own journey. Nice. Your own family can be your worst enemy, especially if they are normie NPCs. Also, Riley, can you try using a VPN or something? Yes and no. I believe we're born with certain challenges we're going to face in all. Oh God, this is so fucking story. Yeah, forget that. I'm not saying it's not true, but just forget it. I don't want to go down that line. I believe that every challenge is a blessing, and every challenge is a reason you will end up being an enlightened, beautiful being. And it seems that everyone in this chat who is on that journey would class themselves as a black sheep of their family. It seems to be a very common experience amongst people on the spiritual journey. So yes, it's true. In a 3D sense, in an ego sense, your family may well be your worst enemy, but also from the perspective I was speaking into earlier, where you need the darkness to discover your light, they're serving you. Can you forgive? Can you love? Can you forgive yourself? Can you love yourself? Because then you'll be able to forgive and love your family. And that doesn't mean you'll necessarily be in contact with them. You know, if they're toxic, what an awful word. If they're not aligned to your journey, then that doesn't mean they should be in your life, but you can still love them from afar and forgive them. Maybe not in this now moment. I'm not saying you should do it like that, but that is you know, the way to love them. Well, yeah, but essentially all is self. So all is a reflection of self. So if you can't love and forgive your family, you can't love and forgive yourself. Do you want to love and forgive yourself? Rachel can get on BitChute by trying. Oh God, no, we don't want to be promoting that stuff. God, he's done it again. He's created another profile again. What a sad bastard. Get that Brave stuff off the screen. My God. So if you use Brave, the content creator you watch is not being honored, is not being paid, is not being respected. So make your decision. Do you want to support the people that help you through life, even if it's just entertainment, or don't you? Do you want to give back, or do you want to just take? Because that's going to be reflected in your external, so careful what you decide. Zombies are predictive programming. They will use 5G, so I think they mean the zombie movies. Are predictive programming. They will use 5G in combination with the jabs to make people go feral. A zombie apocalypse is nothing more than demonic possession en masse. Boom! Totally agree. Look up the origin of the word zombie. It comes from African shamans making the dead rise from the grave to become slaves using black magic. That sounds like fun. They are known by other names such as reverends. You're really good. So I feel like you're new in the chat. Can you please make sure you come back? We do this most evenings. It varies between 8 and 12 p.m. And I also do it in the daytime sometimes, but depending on my sobriety. So you've not seen me in the day for a while. We used to fight the paralysis and force ourselves. Why are they speaking in doubles? Out of bed. All right, let's just go with Rachel has split herself in two, which is great. Maybe she's starting to see the many parts of herself. We used to fight the paralysis and force ourselves out of it, but went with it, and it was crazy. Different experience every time. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to say, and I know you're not asking me, because I've not really experienced it, but I definitely think that will be the way to go. Surrender is always the way to go. Fighting is of the ego, so yeah, I love that. Yes, the first part of the journey is hell. It's hell, man. And for me, that was 10 years long. there were light reliefs along the way. But essentially, I was in hell for 10 years. Oh, I think I was in hell all of my life until 2 weeks ago. Not the first 15 years. Definitely not the first 12 years. And I think I can basically say up to 15, it was good. And then it was hell until 2 weeks ago. 25 years of hell. But for 15 of those 25 years, I was completely of the ego and unconscious. So whilst it was hell, I was so in the material and so not feeling and so deluded that I didn't realize it was hell. So that's as far as ignorance is bliss will go. It's not bliss, it's hell. They're all on antidepressants. Most of them are on antidepressants, my parents, for example. But it is bliss in terms of you're so numb and so deluded, you don't even realize how in pain you are. So is that. But yeah, you're right, it's hell. So then when you come out of that intense delusion where you're not realizing and noticing anything, and you start noticing, and maybe even doing the work, it's hell. And for 10 years, it was hell. Thanks for the reminder, Arcadian. Heart to hearts, Rachel, I know what you mean. It was the same for me, but I knew it was something demonic. I needed to accept and push beyond it, which has been amazing, along with self-work over 10 years. When you say push beyond it, do you mean surrender to it? As in, I don't mean surrender to a demon and let it in. I mean, like, I struggle with the word push, because to me, that's of the ego, that's trying, that's controlling. I would imagine, and this is a question, that the way you got past the dark bit and into the light bit, the astral projection, astral traveling, it was more through than, am I right or wrong? Is that aimed at me? I mean, what am I doing? You'll never do it because you're terrified of interacting with people with any cognitive function, he says to the person who does a 5-hour live stream every day and totally opens himself up to all the insanity and all the projections and deals with it so beautifully and so wisely. So that can't be aimed at me, but then the world is so demonic and deluded, it probably is aimed at me. This is, this is classic projection. They, just totally miss what's going on and tell you are what they are. It's amazing. But it's also basic psychology and how 90% of people live. But it might not be to me. That might, there might be no need to criticize this man. But I think there is, and obviously criticizing is just reflecting himself to himself. I think he probably does need that reflection, but he won't hear it. Yeah, he's definitely a hater. All you morons are invited. We'll give him one more comments chance, but I imagine he's already blown it as we go down the stream, because he only knows hatred because he hates himself. So he can only show up in hatred. Do you own equities, bonds, any assets? No, I mean, equities and bonds are obviously spaz stuff. Why would you own anything that's created by the government? So any assets to offset inflation, yes. The only assets you want to own, in my opinion, is gold and Bitcoin. And even that's manipulated and controlled, but at least it's a thing. It's an actual thing. I mean, you could argue Bitcoin's not. But gold definitely is a thing. And whenever societies have collapsed before, they've always gone back to using gold. And it seems pretty clear that we're on the brink of a collapse. But yeah, I mean, government bonds, are you crazy? Don't they pay 1%? They pay less than inflation. And they're, backed by the government. Like, why would you be buying anything? Why would you be buying into their system in any way? And if you're buying government bonds, you're supporting the government. You're financing the government to send bioweapons to behead you. As an autistic guy, right, yeah, this is why you're so good. It's not a disability. I think it's an enlightenment. I think it's anti-bullshit protectors that autistic people are wearing. And it can be hard to see that when you see the most extreme cases, like where someone's just like focused on a toy train or something. But also, there's no brainwashing men. I think it's an enlightenment thing. As an autistic guy, I felt personally violated when I had to When I had that succubus dream in which the demon tried to cowgirl me. What does cowgirl mean? As in inserts its penis into you and make you ride it? Is that's what I hear from cowgirl, but I don't know. I even felt its fangs on my fangs on my chest. My heart goes to you, ladies. Yeah, I mean, I can see why you would feel personally violated by having to ride the schlong of a demon, especially if you're not a batty boy. Isn't life funny? Oh, I love it. DMT makes me and others I spoke to who has gotten it from me. Is that really something you want to write online? When I mention it, I often feel like we are on a flat plane. It's really interesting, but DMT seems to be the only plant medicine where everyone basically has the same experience. You know, like if you serve 50 people ayahuasca and you ask them all what their experience is, they're all going to be completely different. Whereas DMT is not like that. Like people report a white room, these elves, you know, there's really similar stuff to people's trips. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's definitely all flat when you smoke DMT. But it's also flat when you don't smoke DMT. Does it feel like you're like this and spinning around? Or does it feel like you're like this and still? Trust your senses, people. Your senses aren't lying to you unless you're completely retarded. So, that's the problem. All right, so this is awful. I mean, Tom just admitted Hat the Tom Greatwich channel is a form of journaling therapy for him. What do you mean? Like that's beautiful. And like he admitted it. It's like when you know, so what they're doing there is they're shutting down truth. So if somebody says, I used to have addiction problems, I used to have sexual problems or whatever, he admitted it, where they're walking around with these masks on. Like, so they think that admitted it is he's being honest and authentic. So they think that being honest and authentic is something to shame. Like that's how repressed these people are. So rather than that energy, we'll put this beautiful energy on the screen and we will... So he's just desperate to not acknowledge the truth about himself. And obviously I reflect the truth about himself to him very strongly. So he has one of two options. He can crumble and feel the pain that Arcadian Saka just spoke about, the hell that's going to go on for years, that is the awakening journey. Or he can do what he's doing and keep pretending that I'm the problem and not him. But he's living in absolute misery and darkness, and it will lead to disease, which is great. You know, these people get what they deserve. And I mean that from a, you know, there was my ego in that for sure. But I also mean like he needs it. Like he needs snuffing out. Like he's not going to awaken in this life. It's a waste of time. He might as well get disease and try again. Come back with a slightly easier dharma, a slightly easier path that the pleb might be able to actually follow. Okay, there's a lot of my ego in there. I'm really criticizing this man now. But he deserves it. Fuck him. Space is all fake and gay. We barely know our oceans. You're as good as Storm Dog. You're on Storm Dog. So we let We Fat Shrug go and we got 2 We Fat Shrugs back. Beautiful. I love how it works. And you think that a piece of junk like that Apollo spaceship could survive the hardships of space travel that they tell us. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, we spoke about this last night. They tell us that they've lost the technology to get past the Van Arnhem or something like that belt, the layer of rocks that they tell us exists in the fake and gay ship that doesn't exist. And then they tell us that we did have the technology, and the technology looks like it was made by 4-year-old children. It was literally made out of tinfoil and plastic and just, you know, bits of copper. I mean, it's just a joke if you look at the spaceship that they tell us it went to the moon. So they did have the technology to get through this impossible layer with a tinfoil spaceship, but now we don't have the technology. And people like, even like Beau or B-E-A-U, however you say it, of the Lotus Eaters still thinks that we landed on the moon and is calling for capital punishment. He wants to give the people that you've never ever been able to trust the powers to end you. That's a good move, Lotus Eaters. Nice one. You're definitely not part of the problem. Telling people to vote and to allow the tyrannical powers that shouldn't be to have the right to off you. Good work, Lotus Eaters. You're definitely very good. Look who's here, the beautiful, soft-centered and heart-based man who has sucked a bit of D in his time. Cole, welcome to the chat. I don't want to say that first word because it sounds like YouTube might not like it. Some people have partaken in DMT on a high dose of mushrooms and try and think about what it feels like being here. It's hard, but it's almost better than the laser experiment, which some people have tried. I'm sorry, I can't do anything with that. I agree with what you're trying to say, but essentially this is where I'm at with that laser experiment, or what you're talking about. So I'm going to take from that the being of the ego feels easier than the intense experience of a high dose of shrooms. However, being with the ego is actually harder. Fuck knows what laser experiment means. Okay, I think he tries to explain it here. Partaking in DMT and looking through a laser to see the code is a cool experiment. Maybe. Okay, great. All for it. So Alice is not recommending watching your favorite your favorite YouTubers, your favorite content creators on a, what do you call it? I don't even know what you call these things. On a browser? I think it's a browser. On a browser that doesn't honor and doesn't give back to your favorite creators. But there is something called BitChute that if you really want truth on, then you can find a lot more truth on there than you can on YouTube. And apparently that's now banned in the UK because obviously they don't like truth in the UK. And therefore, if you want to watch BitChute and receive external truth, you won't find any spiritual wisdom on there, but you will find external truth to a higher degree. But honestly, I don't think you need anything more than call for an uprising. But maybe, no, that might not be true actually. Like there are people who will go even deeper than him on BitChute. Then you can do it using a browser called Brave. But of course, when you want to honor your favorite creators and give back to your favorite creators, you will come off Brave and watch them on some demonic browser so that they get paid and they don't quit. Love it, Alice. Love you. Wow, Rachel's gone very hatey tonight. I wonder what's triggered her so much. I was in the gym sauna. Why have you put it in capitals? The gym sauna, I said that masturbation was a bad thing to do. I mean, bad is way too dualistic, but I understand where you're coming from. The NPC in there defended their addiction with force. Yeah, of course. I like to make conversations like that to strangers. So I would offer to you a less dualistic perspective for yourself, and therefore you'll be less triggered into these plebs. Because actually what you want to do, like, yeah, it is fun to see them explode, and that's all part of the journey. And maybe that serves you right now, and it does serve me at times. But really what you want is connection. Really what you want is them to stop being a zombie. And you want to help them. That's really what you really, really want. Or what one implies too much, like it actually matters to you too much. Like it doesn't really actually impact on you. But, you know, obviously you're for the good and you're for service and you're for helping. You're for doing right by people. Now, of course, whenever you've done that in the past, you've been shat on. So now you're in a place where you kind of enjoy triggering them, and that's very understandable. But really, that's been forced upon you through their zombiness and their hatred of self, which has been projected onto you for so many years. So really what you want is to help this person and see them awaken. So I would suggest that if you're going to broach this interesting subject where there's definitely truth in what you're saying, don't use such dualistic, polarizing language like bad. Because the minute you say what he loves doing and what he does all day, every day in order to cope with his miserable existence is bad, you've shamed him. And therefore he has no option from his zombie place to react from the ego and to get aggressive or, project or, the way that demons just behave. It's not really demons, it's egoic people behave. And that's not really what you want. Like, yes, you can hold it, yes, you can laugh at it, and yes, your ego can get off on it, but really your soul doesn't want that. So I would suggest, bringing up your experience around masturbation. Why am I stroking my nipples? Kinky. I only noticed it on the camera. Lol. I'm not into nipple play at all. I hate it. Either to me or when others want it. Like, so many gay men want you to do stuff with their nipples, and I'm just like, no, I'm not interested in your nipples. That's all I want. Somebody likes that. I'll be with you in a minute, F. All I can see is F, but of course I will say your name properly when I get to it. So I would suggest that in order to aid the connection that you really seek and the helping that you really seek, and therefore helping of yourself, is to bring up your experience of masturbation as an offering rather than as a criticism, rather than as a shaming. And the only reason I know this, Caruso, you won't be surprised to know, is because I did this for fucking years. I've only just started stopping to do this, and I still have elements of this. As I reacted with that demon earlier, like that was this. But it was in reaction, which is another level of learning, to not go into that reaction. So yeah, there's an offering for you, Caruso. I think it will serve you well. I know it will serve you well in terms of your service to others, but more importantly, your service to self. Okay, who's this amazing one? I think this might be a new person. Frank Castle, I think you're new. CA, $10. So I think that's probably Australian $10, maybe. Have you tried the 1 meal a day thing? Saving a packed meal for dinner to nourish yourself rather than stuffing yourself throughout the day? I think the answer is no, but let's play with it. So I agree. The fact, they tell us that we need 3 meals a day, so obviously that's really bad for us. So that would suggest that 1 meal a day is a much better way. Then when you get any sort of understanding of fasting, the benefits of fasting, intermittent fasting, why people do these things, then it becomes very obvious that 1 meal a day is the best way. So I totally agree with you, Frank, but also I'm a gluttonous gluten. I love food. I love enjoying my life. I love external things that bring satisfaction. So whilst I can acknowledge that that is correct and the best way to live, and I am open to that being my way one day, maybe even soon. Right now, I get too much satisfaction from stuffing my fat pie hole. And I'm going to keep stuffing my fat pie hole. I'm going to keep playing with my penis. I'm going to keep smoking things because I really enjoy it. And I do, even in saying that, I appreciate that there's a deeper version of me that wouldn't enjoy those things, or that wouldn't seek the satisfaction of those things because they would have met themselves on such a deep level that they would appreciate, honor, and be calling in the beauty of that depth more than the shallowness of what I just spoke into. But right now, I'm quite happy being shallow. In fact, I'm very happy. I'm really happy. And the happiest, happy is such a stupid word. I'm the most content I've ever been. So I don't really feel like changing anything. And also, in that contentment is rapid growth. Like, it's not like I need to add in more stuff. Like, I am transforming on a daily basis. These live streams are incredible shadow work for me. Incredible. Like the one, 2 days ago that only lasted 2 hours because I got triggered with the people pleasers in the chat. There was huge learning from that. Huge learning. Like this is massive. Holding this is massive. Like in terms of constant reflection, and that's mainly, well, it's both. It's the wise people in the chat literally reflecting things to me and teaching me things, whether that's like directly about me or the wider world. But then I think even bigger than that is dealing with haters, demons, artards, and noticing how much I let them grip me, which used to be massive. You know, when I did the two retard videos about Rachel and Sophie, like my whole self-worth was based on them. So they'd grip me massively. And when I used to spend, you know, pretty much all of my English refugee video ranting at the haters, like they'd gripped me, they'd got me. So it's this constant reflection of how much you let the external grip you, overvaluing your internal. And I feel like I'm through that process of live streaming and many other things like Lee and, you know, just the cosmic journey I'm on, because I'm totally dedicated to self-work. Like that's my only goal in life is self-work. It's my only passion, it's my only interest. Ultimately, like everything else is just fluff around it. Like all the YouTube channels are for the self-work of myself and others. And of course, you can go into nuances around that, like, oh, I earn money and, oh, I get attention. And of course, my ego loves attention. Like, yes, there's many layers to it. But ultimately, it's self-work, my own. Oh, and ultimately, it's not even about other people. It's my own self-work. And of course, there's a layer beyond, above that, as in not as deep as that, or maybe it's below that. I'm not quite sure. That then offers that to others too. But ultimately, my life, like, you know, so I mentioned like there's some clients that check in with me. Cole asked me yesterday how many sessions he needs with me to become enlightened. He didn't say that. I added that on for a laugh. How often do I need sessions with you? Do I need them once a week? And what I should have said, I think I answered it pretty well, but what I should have said is how much do you want to know yourself? So, no, this is the only point I wish I'd added when I watched it back. I referred to some people who have a monthly session with me, and I said they're not making much progress. What I should have pointed out is they're making as much progress as they're ready for, and it's beautiful and fine and divine. I think I did point that out. But what I should have pointed out was the reason they're only having one session a month is because they're not really leaning in. So here's the difference. The reason they're not having a powerful journey isn't because they're having one session a month. It's because they're not fully committed to the journey. They're still living externally and value things like friendship more than the depth of their soul. So the reason they're not having what I see as the most powerful experience isn't because they're having one session a month. It's because they're not aligned to it. They're not there. They're not fully surrendered. They don't fully appreciate the value of the journey. They still value 3D human life over the soul's life, the soul's journey. And therefore they only have one session a month. And then obviously, therefore, they're not really breaking through. But they are to the point that they can. And also that one session a month will turn into one session a week once they realize that there's nothing else worth focusing on other than the work. Because it's all there is. And everything that they want to achieve, everything that they're avoiding doing the work for and focusing on this human life to try and create a reality that they enjoy would actually happen if they did the work. So funny. Tom, you have to, oh, Rachel is going to tell me now. Rachel is becoming the cheat. Yeah, Rachel's gone fully into her ego tonight, it seems. Tom, you have to surrender to the sleep paralysis, and when you do, it's terrifying. Yeah, that's exactly what I just said to you, Rachel. You're just repeating my words back to me. Woo. Where do you do all your ayahuasca, in Mexico or Peru? So Mexico is the land of peyote, which is the grandfather. Ayahuasca is the grandmother. So what that means is one, feminine energy and masculine energy, and also what that means is how the medicine shows up. So ayahuasca shows up like a woman, and peyote shows up like a man. So they call ayahuasca the grandmother because it's in your face. and it's telling you what to do, and it comes with loads of love, but it's also, you know, not letting you get away with anything. The grandmother. And you have no choice but to surrender to it, and it will put you into the bottom of a bucket until you do surrender to it. Whereas Peyote is the grandpa. Peyote is the grandfather. He's sat in his armchair. He's got a pipe in his mouth. He's reading his newspaper, and he's has deep love and protective vibes towards the grandkids. But he doesn't go to them. He doesn't play with them. He waits for them to come to him. So you have to work much harder with peyote. You have to meet peyote. So the reason I bring up peyote is because that's the medicine that comes from Mexico. I'm almost certain that ayahuasca won't be found in Mexico. However, Peru is where you will find ayahuasca, along with Brazil. The Amazon, basically. Oh, I'm getting tingles since I said that. Maybe it's time to drink ayahuasca again. So, yes. The issue is if you go there, you're going to get off a bus and you're going to meet somebody with a sign that says ayahuasca ceremonies, and you're going to go with them. And you basically, like, you would have to live there for months before you found a true shaman with lineage. Or you can email me and pay me £50 because it will take me quite a bit of time, so I won't pay for it. And I have to contact people that I don't really want to contact. And I can give you after a couple of weeks and messaging a few people, I will be able to give you the details. And of course, if I wasn't able to, I would refund you £50. But I'm confident that I would be able to give you the details of where you can do it in the UK, where somebody called Asi from Brazil, or is it Brazil, who has a lineage of at least 7 generations around serving ayahuasca, has been drinking it from the age of 2, went into the jungle at 14 for 3 days on her own with nothing but ayahuasca. She knows this medicine. I could give you her details. So you'd be in a, you know, there's a commercial element to it still. You'd be in a TP with 50 other people. There would be 10 staff members, all of whom have a great connection with this medicine. 2 of them would be from Brazil, the shamaness and her, what do you call it? Oh my God, I'm just going to say second in command, but that's terrible. You know, her main support, the person she's brought from Brazil, because they also have the same lineage. And then the other 8 people would be the peyote shaman that I refer to a lot, the English peyote shaman, and his team. So, you know, people who are very experienced with medicine and how to help you through it. So that's actually a 1 to 5 ratio. It's pretty good. You will get all the attention you need. Now, bearing in mind that 50 of the people in that TP will be very experienced and won't need any attention from the staff. So actually, it's 5 people for about 20 people. Sorry, it was 1 in 10 before, wasn't it? Now it's down to 1 in 4. So you know, if you want the peak experience, then yeah, you need to go to Brazil and Peru. But if you want a very close version of that, where it still has the lineage and the knowing of the medicine, then I can hook you up with that. So you can email me if you wish. Here is the email. So it's Friday, Saturday. It's 2 nights. So you'd get there at 4. It'll be in Devon. It may also, there'll be 1 or 2 a year that will be more northern than that, but in general, it will be in Devon. Oh, you're going to have to support yourself because I need 2 hands. It will start at 4 or 5 p.m. on a Friday. That doesn't mean the ceremony will start. The ceremony will start about 9 p.m. on a Friday, but you'll need to be there for about 4 p.m. You're going to meet loads of amazing people. Why am I almost about to click end stream? I don't want to end the stream. I want to post a comment. Fucking hell, that would have been a disaster, wouldn't it? So you'll start drinking the medicine about 9, 10 p.m. at night. That will go on till 5, 6 in the morning. Then you'll just be in beauty and love. And what it does is, so you're with 50 people, 30 to 50 people, who have all been on this incredible experience together and have all just had all the layers melted away. And suddenly you're communicating with people in a way you've never communicated before because you're all open and vulnerable and honest and you've got rid of all the bullshit. You haven't really. You're still in the medicine. You know, you need to integrate the lessons of the medicine to take that into your life, and you won't be able to take it all into your life, because on a Monday morning you're going to have your boss in your face and you're going to have to put a layer over your heart that the ayahuasca took away. But you've experienced it and you know it's true, and you will take little bits of it each time. And then you'll spend all day Saturday just in love and loveliness. There might be a part of you that's like, so the first time I did it, I was gobsmacked that we were going to go through it again on a Saturday night, because it was so harrowing and so intense. But I actually, the only way my ego could cope with it, the only way that I, as an egoic person, could cope with it at the time, was to tell myself that the second night was going to be different. And there's no way they're going to do that to us again, because obviously I'm going there expecting them to serve me. And they are serving me, but not in a way I understand. You know, when I first met the peyote shaman, who is basically, you know, a rock star, well, I saw him as a rock star because he had a guitar, and music is a massive part of his ceremonies. And I expected them, I saw it as they were performing for me, because I paid them. And that's all we know. Like, the only fame you have is going to a football match or going to a concert and then performing for you and you clapping along. You just receiving, no giving from you. Whereas the peyote shaman and the peyote medicine will teach you giving back. So he talks about becoming a transmitter rather than a receiver. And that's shown through song. So him and his team will sing all night, and he's constantly encouraging you to get on your knees, get up and sing. Because that's part of the process of healing, learning to give. Oh my God, it's bringing tears. Oh, I love that man so much. I love that circle so much. He's taught me so much. And, oh God, yeah, I really miss him. Oof, it's been too many years since I've seen him. I have incredible contacts in the UK that just brought that reaction in me. So if you want to meet those incredible contacts, I'll give them to you. Or I wouldn't be able to give you the peyote shaman, because that's not how he works, but I would be able to make him aware of you, and if he feels aligned, he will then contact you. But if he knew that I was finding people through my YouTube, I don't think he'd contact you. So maybe I can't do that, actually. But the other circles, I feel I can. I mean, I would have to vet you, actually. I wouldn't be able to just, you know, we'd actually have to have a call. Yeah, I definitely need to charge for this. We'd have to have a call, and I'd have to vet you, because I have to protect the shaman and the shamaness. I can't just be giving out their details to demons who will call the police. So yeah, we'd have to get on a Zoom call. I'd have to vet you. But if your intentions are good, I can make it happen for you. I have been through quite a cocktail of pharmaceuticals after a breakthrough, but you haven't surrendered yet, so it's still showing up as a breakdown. At about 20 years old, I grew up around hippies, etc., spiritual healers, so that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, the language you're using shows that you haven't surrendered. You're still resisting, because if you see it as a breakdown rather than a breakthrough, I mean, can you see, potentially with this new perspective I might be helping you find right now, that on the other side of that breakdown was a much more beautiful version of you, a much more aligned version of you, a much more content version of you. So therefore, it wasn't really a breakdown, was it? It was a breakthrough. And the breakdown experience is us experiencing the resistance that we have to the responsibility we have to take to become that new version. That's all it is. And if it goes on for a long time, then you're just heavily in resistance. And it's inevitable that the first few times it will go, especially at that age, well, that's obviously going to be one of the first times. You know, my first experience with the dark night of the soul was probably 15 years. From the age of 15 to 30, before I finally went to Machu Picchu and then started asking some questions rather than telling myself I knew everything. Lol. All right, where are we at? We've done 2 hours 44. We've had lots of money. It's been lovely. So I'm going to do 3 hours to thank these amazing people. So we're going to do another 15 minutes. If you want more than that, then you can throw in $5, $10, something like that. It's $10 for every half hour, basically. So 5 will get us another 15 minutes, and then somebody else might chuck in a 5, and then we'll get half an hour. That tends to be how it works, although Rachel's triggered tonight, so Rachel's not doing her thing. No Sophie today. So Sophie will only be here if she's getting attention. And really, that's my attention. So I stopped giving her attention on yesterday's live stream. I realized, you know, what's going on here, and how severe it is. Like, the only way. Oh, right, is it Strawman? Strawman's looking for her girlfriend. The only way. What was I saying? The only way I can currently rationalize Sophie's behavior is that she's actually retarded. Now, obviously, I don't want to poke at that. I don't want to make fun of that. I don't want to even try and help her, because if she's, you know, special needs, she's special needs. And there's definitely a level of intellect that's needed to do this work, which clearly Sophie doesn't have. So, so I've totally stopped giving her anything. I've stopped bringing her up on the screen. So then she started emailing me. I started getting lots of crazy emails from her, which obviously I've ignored. So she copes for a little while by getting the attention of people like you and in the chat. But that's not enough for her. She needs my attention. And if she's not getting it, she's not interested. Like that's the only reason she's here. She's not here to learn anything. She's not here to listen to the wise words. She's not here to get the entertainment from the sense of humor, because she just needs attention. She needs constant attention. And I'm not giving it to that anymore. So she'll go to another YouTuber that gives her attention. Push through the paralysis. Yeah, but it's still that push language. Like, you know, this is just semantics. It's so subtle, but I think it matters. To push is to try. And there has to be an element of trying. Like, surrender, you're trying. Yeah, it really is. I don't know if it even matters. Of course, you are pushing through it, but I think really you're surrendering through it. I think you can only push it away. And I'm talking about this word push. This energy is this. So you can only resist through pushing. You can't break through pushing. You break through surrendering. It's just language, but I do think it matters. Because the word push reinforces the ego. The word push keeps Rachel in the ego, trying, rather than surrendering. I think it's really important. I also grew up smoking loads of cabbage. It's disguised, people. I actually thought it was real for a minute. I also grew up smoking loads of cabbage and eating various pills. This is very relatable. Oh my God, I think we've got another one. Is this the third really interesting person that's suddenly joined the chat since I took responsibility over We Fat Shrug? Don't you just love how the universe works? Isn't life amazing? Let's try and read this comment for the third time. I also grew up smoking loads of cabbage and eating various pills. They're not the sort of pills the doctor gives you. At way too young an age. I'm not sure that's possible. Super ego death before my ego was even formed. There you go. Why was it too young an age? One of the best people I know, in the top 4 people I know, started taking LSD at the age of 11 or maybe 12. Amazing. Or you're always the best. And then the other great people I know started drinking ayahuasca at 2 years old. I think they're way too young, because you know it was amazing, because it was super ego. In your words, it was super ego death before my ego was even formed. So why was it way too young an age? That's the conditioning speaking there, because really, you've just stated, you absolutely know that it was very serving for you. Yet the conditioning, the shame that society puts on you for these enlightening actions, oh, that's a shock. I wonder why it shames them, is speaking there when you say at way too young an age. Now, maybe there's some experience, maybe there's some negative stuff you experienced that you've not shared, and maybe there's a reason why you think it was far too young. But just based on that comment and my experience of people who started using medicines at a young age, is that, the sooner the better. Cheers, Tom. Oh, right, same person. Love this person. Thank you for the 5. So this person has just taken us to 3 hours and 15. If you want it to be longer, then get some shekels in. Cheers, Tom. Must have a chat sometime. Me leaving comments on here can be a bit lacking in detail, dude. Due to lack of characters. Yeah, I'm really up for it. I've got to a point where I value myself and my time, and maybe there's some ego defensivism in here, there probably is. But the story is I value myself and time where I won't really connect with anyone unless they pay me. From my chat. Also, you know, I have tried a few times. I have offered it to people and they've just not respected it and turned out to be plebs. So I'm just at a bounded place now where I don't really let anyone into my life from YouTube. However, I'm opening up, you know, I want to meet Riley. God, I can hear the part of me who wants to make sexual jokes, but let's just leave that. And getting more open. So, right, so here's what I'd say to you. You clearly are, not clearly, that's too strong, because I thought this in the past and then regretted connecting with someone because they haven't been able to hold themselves. I think the evidence suggests that you can meet me. You can hold yourself and you can meet me. And I could really value your company. But right now, I'm still too bounded and maybe repressed to just let you in. So there'd be two caveats that I would do it on. I would do it if you'd be willing to do a live stream with me. Or maybe not a live stream, just a video. But you would be recorded and you would be put online. Therefore, even if you do turn out to be too repressed and unable to hold yourself, I'm still getting something out of it. And then from there, we can decide, from there, we will know whether you can hold yourself and whether you can be in my life as a friend, which I'm very open to, if you can. Or you can pay me £50 for a session. It might not be a session, it might just be a chat. If you can meet me, then you can meet me and it won't be a session. It will be a reflecting back and forth and us both helping each other. But you'd have to pay £50 for that. Now, again, once we'd done that, if the evidence was that you had met me and you had held yourself, then obviously there'd be no future charges and you would just become a friend. So there's your two options. Yeah, but I'm done with just letting people in. I've been burnt too many times. As in, people have, yeah, that'll do. Tom, when your parents are over 70, could they be convinced to do a load of psychedelics? Absolutely not. At an old age, the downsides are almost non-existent and it would help overcome the fear of death. Yeah, I used to have this story. I used to look at my grandma and I remember saying to my mum, when I'm her age, I'm going to take so many substances. And this wasn't enlightening. I mean, all substances are enlightening, but this wasn't plant medicine. I hadn't found plant medicine at this point. So I need to cover up my screen. It's doing my edit. Oh, it's not too bad. It's one here. And I remember my mum just like, you know, laughing at me like I was a retard. And actually now I agree with her. So I think what you're doing here is not understanding what it's like to be old. And obviously neither do I, because you have to experience it. But I've become wise enough and old enough to appreciate that actually once you get to a place of peace and presence, which I think most, even old normies, experience a little bit, because I think that, you know, you're just starting to let go of this life and take it less seriously. You know, you've only got 5 years left, why would you? But the last thing you'd want to do is that. Now, when you so this is coming from a normie perspective. So actually from the enlightened perspective, I very much doubt I will be taking, I mean, I am almost at a point where I will never take psychedelics again. I will probably do it another 5 to 10 times in my life. Because I can learn more. I just don't need it like I used to. And to do it would be actually more out of escapism. So the main reason I would do it now is if somebody came and said, can you facilitate an ayahuasca session for me, as people have done in the past, then I would do the medicine to help them. But really, in terms of my own journey, I think I'm pretty much done with it. So I completely disagree. Even from an enlightened person's journey. I don't think you'd be doing it at that age. And if you are, then you haven't woken up yet, and therefore, great, do it. But you know, if you've been on this path all your life and you're still doing that at the age of 80 or 90, unless you are serving the medicine to others, that's a very different thing. Like my peyote guy that I speak about is 60. And the roadman, Crowley, that chose him to be the England server of peyote, he might be dead now. He's in his 80s and he's still traveling the world serving medicine. So, you know, that's very different because that's it's what they're here for. So yeah, that's the enlightened side covered. So now let's get into your actual question, which is my parents who live in repression and fear. From their perspective, there's no reason to do it. Like they're so repressed and so scared that whilst, the last conversation I had with my mum, she basically acknowledged that, enlightenment exists and I'm well on that journey. She still wouldn't see the benefit of her doing it because she's so scared. She can't even read a book about jib jabs when she claims to love her grandchildren. Like, it's deep repression. So no, there's just no way. But at an old age, as the downsides are almost non-existent. Also, you're showing no respect to their experience, which I understand. I'm not criticizing you. But to say the downsides are almost non-existent, well, they're still living in a now moment. I mean, they're not. They're projecting into the future or past all the time. But, if they were to dance with the medicine, they would be in the now moment. So even if you're 75, 85, you still have to face that. So, of course, there's downsides in that moment. I mean, there's actually no downsides, but, the ego will think there's downsides. Like when you're like, you'll feel like there's downside. I hope that was worth it, people. I hope you enjoyed that because it fucked me up. So I think this is all projection in your story, mate, and it actually makes no sense. But I can understand why it's your story, and I used to have this story, so I totally honour it. But no, I don't agree. Cole, here he is. I think they are trying to block VPN in the UK. The latest I heard was that they were doing this. I don't understand the two latest rollbacks. I mean, obviously it's all part of the show and is just to try and make this new prime minister look like he makes decisions, make him look real, not a puppet. But they seem to have decided that they're doing this whole internet age thing, but also allowing VPNs. So that makes no sense. But I think it's just I just think it's, they just play this game. It's just like Sweden and Florida in the COVID years, not following exactly what the World Economic Forum said, just so it looks like there's a bit of decision-making going on lower levels when there's not really. But yeah, I was shocked to hear about the VPN thing. And then I was really shocked that Bumham rolled back digital ID. Like gobsmacked. I just can't find a framing for that yet. The only framing I can find is what I've just said, where they make it look like these people make decisions, and obviously that's a big one. So it will give him a nice, easy entry, because obviously so basically people realise that it's a snake. The government's a snake. So Keir Starmer, they realise like, oh, this man's evil. But they don't realise that it's all the same, no matter what party it is. So what the deep state do once people have seen the snake is they chop the head off the snake and they put a new one on and they burn them and then people give the snake another chance, but it's just the same snake. And so to get people to buy into it and give another chance to what they've already decided is evil, they give them hope. So that's why he's rolled back with digital IDs. It will come back for sure. This is what's going to happen. So they're going to get you to like him by him rolling back the digital IDs. Then there'll be a massive terror attack and they'll need the digital IDs. Because there's no way they're giving up on that one. There's no way they're giving up on that one. That one's essential to one world government and enslavement. Wouldn't that make you hungrier in the short so I think this is in terms of eating once a day, maybe. Wouldn't that make you hungrier in the short term and increase your appetite and weight in the long term? Well, only if you succumb to that hunger. Maybe you could just experience the hunger and be okay with it, and take the lessons from it. Take the presents that it will bring to you. So yes, it would make you hungrier, but you'll only get fat if you act on that hunger. If you fail. If you have a learning experience. No, I don't drink alcohol. It's not like a hard no. I'm not. I just don't like it. It's just very low vibrational. So I really need to get a screen share for you guys. So there's a vibration chart, and it's real. So as you move up the vibration chart, so it starts with fear, shame, guilt, moves to neutral, then peace, presence, joy. As you move up, and linked to that is everything else in life. So emotions, external environments, the people you'll hang around with, and substances as well. So obviously alcohol and smack vibrate in fear, shame, and guilt. So once you come out of those vibrations, you leave whatever correlates in that vibration behind. So alcohol just isn't going to be a thing for anyone who loves themselves. Certainly not a regular thing. Now, they might have a glass of wine with a meal. I wouldn't even do that because I just don't like it. But I'm not like, I can, so in the last 2 years, I probably had 3 pints. One of them was in an airport when I wanted to sleep on the plane. One of them was in Nam Ban because somebody pointed out in the comments that I'd spent 6 months in Vietnam and not experienced their beer. So two days before I left Vietnam, in fact, I think it might be in the episode I released yesterday, or if not today, but I think it was in yesterday's episode. I buy two Vietnamese beers, and they're very nice. The Saigon beer, and I really enjoyed them. But I didn't wake up with any desire to do it again because it doesn't really serve me, and it didn't even help me sleep. Like I did enjoy drinking them. But yeah, you'll just leave that shit behind, man. It's just so low vibrational. It's like it's like asking an enlightened person if they listen to heavy metal. Like, no, of course not. It vibrates down there. And then other things that start happening is you start valuing flowers and living in nature, and you leave the city. It's all just linked to vibration. I really need to get that chart on a screen share. For the next live, I will have that chart on a screen share. Lee, sort it out. No, I can do it. I don't need Lee. Let's just check I haven't missed any supers. Oh, right, yeah, so we're stopping now. Oh, no. QuadX took us to 3:15. So we've got another 13 minutes, people. Another 5 will get us to 3.5 hours. I like that. So this is in regards to fasting. He's pointed out that a lion, so let your body rest. A lion doesn't eat for a long time. Ben just eats one big load at a time. I'm not going to add anything to that. I think he said it all. Oh dear. This isn't my ego. You aren't reading the comments in sync. Well, I'm doing my best, and it is definitely your ego. Oh, we've just got to 3.5 hours, people, and this is who you can thank for it. Oh, a new one. We like a new one. Oh, no, it's not. It's for Manchester Teas and Coffee. Let's get this right. Manchester Tea and Tarts Tour. Now, let's bring it up, actually. Let's find out. Who is this person? So what do? Hang on, how do I do this? Right, we bring it up on here. So we need to find YouTube. And then it's at Manchester Teas and Tarts Tour. So what I want to find out is, does this person have a YouTube channel about teas and tarts? Or is this person actually doing tours in Manchester based on teas and tarts? And it's their business, which I just think would be so cool. Manchester Teas and Tarts. Is it tour or tours? Manchester tour, right, so that should bring it up. Why isn't it bringing up the channel? Manchester Tees, and I put the ads in and everything. Let me show you what I'm doing to keep you engaged. Sorry, this is suddenly got very boring for you guys, hasn't it? Share screen. I mean, I think it's pretty pointless. I don't think we're going to find who this is. But I'm trying to, you know, share your shiz because you're supporting me. But it's not going very well. So this is what's happening when I put your URL in. Just a load of crap. Now, is there a way of clicking on here and making it channels? I mean, let me just put channel at the end. Oops, that's not gonna help, is it? Let's try and spell properly. Why is it not coming up? Okay, can you just tell us, is this how you earn a living? Is it a YouTube channel? Is it something you actually do? If it is something you do, I think it's a really quirky, cool idea. If it's a YouTube channel, then fine, I'm not really interested, but nice. But if you actually do tours based on tarts and teas, I just think it's so quirky and cool, and I can really see it working. You know, I can see that being quite lucrative. Okay. Thank you so much for me and the chat for taking, oh, we don't need this anymore. Let's honor this person a bit more. For taking us to 3.5 hours. It is much appreciated from me, and I'm sure it's much appreciated from much of the chat. Oh, wow, the most beautiful butterfly just flew past. Oh, I love this place. It's so amazing. Right, I'm going to start coming down. Cole. I hate drinking. Never did the whole drinking thing since I was 14 and never did it again. Yeah, I mean, it seems that you are what I call an old soul. It seems you've come here with a great connection to self. 14 is very young to have that realization, and says a lot about you and says a lot about your depth and your connection to self, because really anyone who drinks, you know, the first time you drink, you know it's poison. You know, so I remember, like, if I look back to my manic hedonistic years, like, I felt crap every time I drank. Obviously, you're drinking poison. Yet I valued the escapism more, even knowing that the next day it was going to make things way worse. Whereas you weren't that deluded. Like, you had a connection to self at such a young age that you were just like, well, obviously that's not worth the trade-off, so I'm not going to do it. Whereas for most of us, we have to do it for 30 years before we accept that. So I think all that does, Cole, is just prove what we already know about you even more. But you is amazing. And by amazing, I mean deep, soft, and soulful. It's not about who is more enlightened than who, but when you have done a lot of inner work, it's nice to communicate with others who are on the same path, as it's not often we find each other. Yeah, but also, if you don't communicate with people who can also hold themselves, then you end up in this relationship. People worshiping you and people pleasing and people like telling you you're amazing because that's how they think. That's the only way they've ever experienced people liking each other, you know, through virtue signaling and falseness and wearing a mask. And that just doesn't serve you. It's just boring and, you know, ugh. So, so yes, there's no competition in any of this. And this is, you know, this is where the Awake and Brave and Jim Dandy expose themselves, because they show up in competition. So then you know that they haven't met themselves. Because so Jim, I banned Jim Dandy, and the last comment that I banned him on was Tom sees me as competition. So because he thinks he's enlightened, but because he's not enlightened, he operates out of competition. But what he can't, like, I mean, it just amazes me that intellectually he can't even understand that he sees me in the chat honoring fellow, I'm just going to use the word fellow deep people, and loving it when there's deep people in the chat. And, you know, obviously I want more deep people around me. I want everyone to be deep. I want to connect with more people. And that's shown in you know, the way I exist. Yet he thinks that I see him as a threat. Let's just say he was more enlightened than me in his language. I wouldn't see him as a threat. I'd be like, teach me, bro. But he's not. He shows up in competition and hatred. So of course he's not met himself. He hates himself. So it's, for me, it's more a case of, yeah, it's not about competition and any of that, and that's the only way Rachel can understand it, because she lives from the ego. So great comment, you're dead right. But for me, it's less about that, and that's just obvious. Like, of course, there's no competition. You know, you want more people. For me, it's just about they can't hold themselves, and therefore, when I meet them, they're going to be full of nervous energy, and it's not going to be enjoyable, and they're not going to be able to offer me anything unless they're paying. So this is why I charge them. You know, the only way that I can receive something back from someone like Rachel in this current moment is financially, because she hasn't met herself. She can't hold herself. But she's doing it. She's doing it. She's on the journey. It feels like Riley is answering the question that I asked Manchester Cheese and Tarts. Are you the same person? Or is this just a coincidence? We are a British tea room based in PA. Don't know. We all, you know, to you, because you live there, everyone knows PA, but I don't know PA. I'm from Sheffield, so tell us what PA is, Riley. We also take guests on tour. This has got to be the same person. Riley, are you the same person as Manchester Teas and Tours? Maybe she's got it open on 2 profiles so she can respond to more people. It must be the same person. This is definitely the answer to that question. Okay, I'm over that. We also take guests on tours of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, plus other parts of Europe. So come and join us on our adventures. That's amazing. So I think you're the same person as this. Can you confirm that? Or is this just a crazy synchronicity? How do I share your business? It sounds amazing. I think if anyone can meet you whilst having fun, it's going to be very beneficial for them. So I'd love to share your details. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay, don't panic, people. I'm still here. It's all going to be rectified in a minute. So basically, my camera has run out of battery. That's what's happened. Surely it must be charging from the laptop, no? Right, okay, so how do I rectify this? All right, so I click on this. And now we're on the Ugreen one. Okay. So we need to put this camera somewhere where it's not staring at a mouse mat, and preferably has me on it. So that would probably work. Oh, I haven't prepared for the widescreen. You're going to see all my crap. There's the crap. How does that happen? How does the camera run out of battery when it's plugged into a PC? That's a bit shit, isn't it? All right, let me charge my camera up, because obviously I'm going to need that to entertain you all through English Refugee. And I want to film my pussies, which will also all be on English Refugee. It might just turn into a cat channel. How do you feel about that? It's not going to turn into a cat channel, don't worry. But of course, we are going to feature quite heavily. No, that's just crap. I'm so small. But anyway, it's the best we've got right now. So that is really annoying, but fuck it. You can't do anything about it because you're a repressed when it comes to technology. Right, where we at? We've got another 2 minutes, guys. Hang on. No. This one took us to 3.5, didn't it? We've got another 17 minutes. 17 minutes of fun and joy and humor. If you wanted to be more than 17 minutes, you know what to do, people. Cole. So he's corrected something to told. I've been old soul. I've been told I'm an old soul all my life by my family. Oh, you must have good family, teachers, etc. And I think you told me this yourself before. Absolutely. I used to think it was bad, as I just never fitted in, but now I understand. And I'm grateful for it. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Yeah, of course. For a child, it's very difficult. And for an early adult. How old are you again, Cole? You're 26, 27, something like that? So yeah, still very young. And you've already learn to appreciate and love yourself, your old soulness. So you're so far ahead of where I was. At your age, I was still sticking powder up my nose and getting fisted, which you could say was shadow work. I think it was more just shadow-y. So yeah, imagine what you're going to be like when you're 40, brother. Woo! This man has a big journey ahead. Has a very, you know what? I don't think it is going to be that big in terms of course it is for you and it's going to be your experience, but I don't think it's going to, I just think it's going to flow really beautifully for you from here, or very soon. But the impact you're going to have on others is going to be huge. You're amazing, Cole. Way better than me. Fixed it fast though. How little freaking out was it? How adult was that? How calm and knowing that one could fix it was that, compared to the Tom that was showing up 2 weeks ago, who would have absolutely freaked out over that and probably ended the live stream. Thank you. Yeah, that was very confusing for all of us, Riley. So Riley is not the same as the Manchester Tea Rooms person, but what they put on screen, or what I put, their comment that I put on screen, oh, sorry, I'm just noticing a turtle head and chocolate starfish expansion, was from their YouTube channel. So that's what they do. Wow, it's amazing. Okay, so you're not going to get to meet Riley, sadly, but it is really cool what they do. So if you can find the channel and find a way to find them, then and you like tours and that sort of thing, then I think that would be a really good one. It's not something I do, if I'm honest, but if you like that sort of thing, then I think it's great. Right, I'm going to go and open up the chocolate starfish. I will take that into account in terms of what people have paid for. So we're currently going on to 3:35, and hopefully longer if people throw in some shekels. I might make a smoothie as well. Okay, so here's some questions. Is that the first starfish break we've had? Or is it the second? Either way, massive. So what I'm realizing is that all the ass squirting was anxiety over live streaming, because obviously it's a lot when you first start doing it. And there's been this huge shift in everything about me, but obviously that's reflecting in live streaming. And of course, it's also just an experience thing. I'm getting experience with it now, and it no longer scares me. But suddenly I'm not squirting out of my ass constantly. When we first started these live streams, if you weren't part of it, I was stopping every half an hour to squirt out of my ass, and I was taking you with me on the microphone, but I had to stop doing that. Like, you heard it all. It was great fun. I loved it. But I had to stop doing that because YouTube demonetized the live stream, sadly. Apparently, you're not allowed to shit on microphone. So, sadly, I don't take you with me, so you don't get to hear it anymore. But I'm pretty sure that that is either the first or second in 3 hours. I did have a live stream poo, and it was solid-ish, 70%. That was 50-50. It was pretty... but it's just it's a huge external reflection of the internal shift. So beautiful. I love it. I love how we gain evidence through this journey. Okay, I'm just going to make a smoothie, but I'll get something back to speak about while I'm doing it. To keep you all entertained, to keep the dopamine hits going. So as it stands, no one wants it to go past 3 hours 35. That's fine. I'd quite like to end it because then I'd still have really good energy and I'd get lots of editing done. Whereas when I go on to 5 hours, I have to lie down for 3 hours. So it's probably worth it for me if no one does. But also I'm open to doing longer. I'm open to sacrificing my energy levels for you for the shekels. You know, I was watching your English refugee in Cambodia on your Not Today Satan channel earlier and then saw where you live. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I don't live in fear. Well, you know, I don't care. Yes, so on Not Today Satan, I did release a video that was filmed in Cambodia. It does show the complex that I live in. That's fine. It's, you know, I could go into all the 3D stuff, like it's got great security, yada, 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 but I don't care. You know, it's so beyond the intentions of demons what happens in my life. You know, even if one did try and come and harm me, like, maybe it's meant to be. Maybe I'm meant to die, and that's fine. But I don't think that is the case. I think they'll find that they die on their journey here. But if not, and I die, then that's fine. Whatever's meant to be is meant to be. I don't care. So I'm meant to be finding something to speak into. Yeah, we're not vibing with Rachel tonight. Oh, and then we're at the bottom of the chat. Stuff like that. Make a smoothie and see if we get more chats. Well, I can speak into that more actually. So it's been a huge journey for me, about the doxing thing and the demon thing. So, you know, I lived in absolute fear of a certain person finding out where I lived for quite a long time. I mean, I didn't think it was the person. I thought it was someone else because they were playing a demonic psyop. So I've really been through this, and you know, it's very powerful. So I still notice the parts of me that could react in the way you're speaking. I still notice the parts of me that are like, no, don't let anyone know where you live. But there's a much bigger, loving, trusting part of me now that's just like, you know, trust the path, trust the journey. You know, don't try and control it. Don't try and stay safe and small. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean do stupid shit like jump in front of a train and expect to survive. But, you know, there is this trust thing. And of course, you've got to be careful. Like, oh, have I just got into the ego and I'm being deluded and not doing sensible things? Or is the sensible things fear and repression? And from my point of view and the journey that I've experienced, particularly around this and the demonic attacks that were beautifully brought into my life to teach me what I'm now speaking into and lots of other things. So basically, I had to fully feel my fear, like to levels that I would never have done without this beautiful, wonderful demon. So therefore, I've really cleared a lot of my fear. And I now vibrate in contentment instead of fear, and peace instead of fear, and joy instead of fear. And of course, I'm constantly moving between those vibrations. I'm not consistently in any of it. Maybe consistently in contentment now, and often in peace, and then joy pops in every now and again and goes, hiya! So there's this constant learning to trust. So I'm at the stage now where I trust way more than I fear. I can still notice the part of me, the ego, that wants to control and tell himself some story around safety and doesn't want to share his beautiful life with the world. Doesn't even want, but that same part doesn't even want me to have a YouTube channel. So how much do I listen to it? Should I not be YouTubing? Well, I think it's fairly clear that YouTubing is for the good. Me YouTubing is for the good, for both myself and all those watching. Even the ones that are just getting triggered, it's also for their good. So we can definitely point and lovingly laugh at the ego that doesn't want me to YouTube. So what about the part of it that doesn't want me to share my location? Is that operating from the same place? Or is it more sensible than the part of me that's speaking now? Well, I guess we'll find out. Either I'll get murdered or I'll be an incredible guru that changes the world. And that will be how we find out. There's no point me telling you because it would just be made up and it would be an assumption. But I feel like my knowing, but it could of course be my ego, trusts the universe and this path enough, and just the practical realities of where I live and how hard it would be to, harm me in any way. And how they'd be much more likely to end up in a prison cell than actually be able to harm me. So that helps reassure the part of me that doesn't believe what I'm saying, but ultimately I just trust. I just know that, let's use the word God, even though it doesn't really exist. I just know that God will do what's right. And maybe that is me suffering a horrendous death. If that's right, then let's do it. I don't know. I'm not going to say. I'm just a stupid human. How does that land with you? And if it does land with you, then ask yourself why you assumed that it was correct to have the fear that you had or to offer me the fear that you had. Well, then that must mean that you live in that fear. Is that something you want to continue doing? Like, I'm sure it's serving you in some ways. Maybe it is. Maybe you have a violent ex that scares you, and right now you think that is the best way to show up in this life. And if that's the case, then keep doing it. Or maybe you're fed up of living in fear. Maybe you want to experience something different. Well, to experience something different, you're going to have to lean into your fear. You're going to have to experience your fear rather than letting your fear control you and never really experiencing the edges of it because you're just staying in the middle of it. You're letting it control you. Well, maybe try something different. See what happens. You might die. Oh, shit, that's bad advice, isn't it? Is it? What happens after death? Is it better than this? Well, maybe it was meant to be. You need to surrender, my dear, and learn to trust. Now, when I say need, it doesn't make any difference to me. I don't care. You do you. You do what you want. You need to do whatever's right for you. But in my experience, surrendering and trusting will lead to a much, much more delightful human existence. So it's all up to you. There's my offering. Do with it whatever you wish. Whoa, 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 shit. Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't know if you can see, but I've just got smoothie all over my wall. What a silly Billy! Oh, you are such a lovely silly Billy. I love you even though you do stupid things. And I think it's really cute and I honour your inner child, but still clearly controls a lot of you, hence why you're so immature. But we're not gonna shame that part, even though it has just got watermelon all over the fucking wall. But we're just going to lovingly laugh with you and acknowledge that, yes, you are a silly little child. But really, all you need in a child is my reassurance and my love, and then you will relax and stop trying to control things, and then situations like this will stop occurring. What makes it even worse is that I bought 2 cloths. I bought 2 towels as cloths because they cost 50 pence each, so I might as well have a towel as a cloth. And one of them disappeared in the washroom. Someone stole it. Someone stole a 50 pence towel. Can you imagine? So I'm down to 1 towel / cloth. And that is currently in the washroom because yesterday I had to wipe up lots of cat stuff with it. It's not actually true, just grim and grime off my foot. So I decided to wash it. Now, this is the issue. I need to buy a necklace. I don't want to wear a fucking t-shirt. It's too hot to wear a t-shirt. But otherwise, I need a necklace to put the mic on. Or I need to grow a beard like Lee. Lee puts it, if you don't see Lee wearing a mic, it's because it's underneath, it's because it's in his beard. Okay, is that another thing? Oh, someone's took 2 in. Fantastic. You misunderstood my comment. You misunderstood my comment. I said you were live. I can't even remember what we're talking about, mate. Was it you that talked about the doxing thing that I just went on an amazing, epic, wise offering about? I think that was possibly the best thing I've ever said in my life. The bar is not particularly high. So if it was that, then how meant to be was that misunderstanding? Like, you know, it brought out all that beautiful offering. So I think it was very meant to be, but I'm not sure that is what we were talking about. I think it was you that said that. If not, then yeah, sorry, I can't remember. I think it was what we were just talking about. I mean, I'll just, because you are the donator and therefore you deserve more time, I'll just briefly go over the chat and see if that's what you're talking about. I don't know, but I think that was it. Either way, I just really love and respect you, and I'm very grateful for you, and you know, obviously the financial, but also just your contribution to the chat. You're amazing. I'm really glad you're here. I must go. It was great to see your live stream, as I've been away a while, and so it was very good. Have a good rest of your day. Big love. Thank you. The same to you, brother or sister. Well, this is it, Cole. You're not allowed to die. You have much work to do, bro. Totally. I trust that. I'm not going to die. If anyone came to try and harm me, they would get harmed, obviously. But that comes from deep trust. Work to help others. Yeah, I totally agree, mate. I think I'm here for the long haul. I think I'm here until I'm 94, or was it 93? I had my palm read in India, so obviously it means absolutely nothing. But and this was when I was, it was when I was 30, so I was heavily indoctrinated. But I held on to this as a thing that meant something, and that, you know, I'm not saying it actually does. But all my life since then, I've basically been like, I'm going to live till I'm 94, and then I'm going to pass on. And I still hold that to be true, even though it was just some Indian that, you know, probably made up a load of shit based on some lines on my palm. But it feels right to me. 94 feels really good. I certainly don't want to go past that. If anything, I want to be a bit sooner than that. But 94 feels really good. I think that's the case. I think I have lots of work to do. I think I'm here to way show for many, many people, many, many more people that I'm yet to meet. So yeah, that really resonates with me, Cole, and I trust that. You know, I'm just like, you know, if some is some demonic, pathetic ego is going to try and harm this and what this is bringing to the world, then of course, I, as God, which you all are too, that's not egoic, that's just the truth, I'm going to, consciousness, oneness, is going to, so there's this shard of itself that's being all demonic and hatey and trying to take out this shard of itself that is helping itself see itself. Well, obviously consciousness is going to snuff this out. But if by this taking out this, it actually helps consciousness to see, then it's not going to value the shards. It's going to allow that to happen because all that matters is what consciousness sees. So maybe my death is part of it. And that's fine. As long as I'm in service, I don't care. Justin, Tom, you're a total legend, mate. Bless you, Justin. Thanks for seeing me. I know, I am. And so are you, brother. Thank you for honoring the legendary legendness. Oh, I never said you're a demon. I never said that. I've really liked you from the moment I saw you. I'm no demon, but it's all good. I know how it could have been misunderstood. Oh yeah, I've obviously totally misunderstood something. I absolutely do not think you're a demon. I'm not sure what the misunderstanding is, but I absolutely, you know, I fully honor you. Like everything that I am aware that I can remember that you have put into this chat, I've totally resonated with. Even if, let's say it was you that talked about the doxing, it probably wasn't even you, but let's say that it's not that I didn't resonate with it, because 6 months ago, that was my life, heavily. Less than 6 months ago, 2 months ago, maybe even 4 weeks ago. So, you know, of course, I'm not going to judge that or criticize that because I've experienced that myself. So this is how you know that Jim Dandy is fake, because if he had done the work, if he had experienced the harrowingness of this, of meeting self, he would never, ever, ever criticize somebody who's doing that same work, even if they were below him. Like, of course not. You just shower love into it, like I do with most of the people in the chat. I mean, like Rachel, I shower loads of love into her. Like, yes, okay, tonight I've acknowledged it, but that is loving as well. It's loving to put a boundary in when somebody's not honoring themselves. Rachel hasn't honored herself tonight, so I've not honored her. You know, it's actually out of love. The problem is people think that love can only be compassion and can only be people pleasing. No, love is very boundaried because it needs to be real. Otherwise, it's not real. Agreed. You're the best human I have met, and I don't like many humans nowadays. Yeah, I mean, it's a low bar, isn't it? It's not hard. My ego isn't really going to make much of that because, yeah, yeah, everyone's crap. So that's not really a reflection on me. It's more a reflection on the crapness of society and the collective consciousness. But I also, you know, honor myself in that, and I know that that's true. And that doesn't mean I'm the best person in the world. It just means I'm the best person in Cole's world. But you know, that doesn't really mean anything because Cole lives in the UK and he's only 26 and hasn't truly met himself yet, and therefore that's reflecting in his external. And he's met himself enough for me to come in from the externals, which is going to help him honor himself enough to make his whole external be people like me. And then I won't be anything. I'll be nothing because he'll start meeting people like Lee and be like, oh, Tom's a spaz. And that's great. That's what we want. Thanks, Cole. I am authentic, I agree. And I have the same name on Facebook. If the bastards want to arrest me, then so be it. I'm a member of a free speech union to help with courts costs. Yeah, so am I. Great. So I feel like that is maybe in relation to what I was just saying. Oh, look who's here, Michael. So this is the man who subscribed to this guy's channel if you enjoyed the Not Today Satan video today, which is totally bombed. Not many people did, but it was never going to do well on that channel. It's fine. It probably triggered a load of people, actually. I imagine, I haven't looked yet. Maybe we should bring it up on screen and look. I imagine it's definitely lost subscribers because there's people who want to tell themselves that their disempowerment is aligned. So I'm staying to fight for my country, even though there's no fighting, they've taken all the weapons away and it's going to be impossible and you're going to get massacred. Is the ego's way of protecting one who feels disempowered and can't change their situation. That's going to lose a load of subscribers as well, especially people who are watching on Not Today Satan. So Michael's video will have actually triggered more people. Let's have a look. Right, let's change this to, and then let's read Michael's comment first. Hey up, bro. I am at level up. It's AI Club Wednesday. That's going to trigger loads of people on here, mate. Fucking hell. They don't realize it's like a knife and can be used for good as well. They just live in fear of it. It's AI Club Wednesday, so swing by if you fancy it. I'll be here until 4 p.m. But it's like 6 a.m. now. Wow. It's AI Club Wednesday. What's AI Club? I'm feeling resistance. I'm feeling resistance. I'm feeling, obviously it's fear over being in a group of people because that's a big thing for me. The story that's coming up, yeah, so there's a story of I'm too tired straight away. There's a story of I've got editing to do straight away. There's a story of like, what the hell is AI for? Is it just going to be people talking about computers? That's not for me. But maybe it is for me now because I'm getting more technical. Thanks, Bill. I really appreciate it. I'll have a feel into it, but I haven't smoked yet. And no doubt when I smoke, I'll just be like, no. But I really appreciate that, Michael. Thank you. Right, let's have a look at how mine and Michael's video is done. This should be quite interesting. Do you like it when I show you my YouTube studio or is it boring? Let me know. I've done this the last 3 lives now and I assume it's interesting. Right, I need to change. Oh, this is bad timing. Just need to quickly move my fan. There we go, that's done. Right, so I am on it, guys. I'm bringing you up the stream. Don't click off, don't click off. It's all about to get very entertaining. Why is that not working? You bastard. Right, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Not today, Satan. Oh, we're still on 39300, so it can't have triggered that many people. We started on, when I came back, right, let me get it on the screen so you're not all getting bored. There we go. Right, so when I came back, I think was it 420? I think it was 420. 39,420. So far I've only lost 80 subscribers. So that's a lot less than I was expecting. I was expecting at least 500 because I've come back with a new energy that, you know, isn't going to serve those that just want to live in fear because that's all they know and that feels easier to them and it's totally understandable. I'm not criticizing them, that's just reality. Okay, so how did it do? Well, it's done badly. It's 6 out of 6. So it's the worst of all the videos I've released since I've come back. In terms of what the viewers think, it doesn't actually mean it's the worst. It's actually the best. That's the ironic thing. So these are the sort of numbers I've been getting. You know, the first one was 11,000, but 5,000 seems about normal. And then this one has come in at 15,000. So this one hasn't been received well. How many people has it triggered to the point where they need to run away? 2. Now, of course, it will be more than 2 because there'll be some people that have also subscribed off the back of this video. So I imagine it's more like 10 have run away and 8 have vibed. So therefore, overall, it's a -2. Yeah, I think that's all we've got to say about it. What did I expect that video to do? I think I had slightly higher expectations for this video because I think this is a great video. And I think that me and Michael can actually create way better videos because this is literally us meeting each other for the first time. We've said 2 sentences to each other at this point. And so obviously, certainly from my side, there's a lot of nerves in there. And there's just, you know, we haven't connected yet. So now that Mark and I are connecting and I'm getting over my nerves, we can actually plan videos. And by plan, I just mean like, what we're going to talk about, oh yeah, that sounds good, let's put the camera on. So I think the content that Michael and I create moving forward is going to be pretty fantastic. I think that was fantastic. So I was hoping that would come in at about 3,000. So it will finish on about 3,000. But I was hoping it would come in after the first 24 hours on about 3,000 and maybe end on about 5. So it's not done as well as I hoped. That's fine. None of this matters, obviously. So let's just remove that. That was fun. Was it fun? Let me know if it was fun. Have we had any more shekels? Justin is the last one still. So where are we at? I said I'd do 3:35. So I've done our time. I've done our time. I am quite enjoying it, but I think it's probably best to end the stream when I'm in good energy rather than just totally exhausting myself. It's just, so this is the AI Club. It's just people using AI or wanting to learn more to use AI. It's almost always turns into debates about the philosophical impact of AI. I'm really shocked to hear that. Not. Sounds great, mate. Thank you so much for inviting me. I will do my best to show up, but I have a feeling I won't. Because live streaming always takes it out of me, mate. Like after a live stream, I have to lie down for about 3 or 4 hours. It's a real energetic thing. Depletion. I've also got 4 hours of editing to do today, and I'm going to smoke. So I probably won't make it, but right now there is intention might be a bit strong. There's a hope that I do. No. No, you need to work for it. So I assume by heart you mean Lee. So basically what you're saying here is, hi Tom, can you spoon feed me? No, I'm not going to spoon feed you. If you're ready to work with Lee, then you're ready to take responsibility. You still can't do a bank transfer. So I don't think you're ready to work with Lee, but you seem to think you are. So if you are, make it happen. Hold your own spoon, take responsibility. Because what do you think Lee's going to teach you? Do you think Lee's just going to hold your hand, or do you think he's going to teach you to take responsibility? So if you can't even take enough responsibility to work out how to get in touch with Lee, then you aren't going to be able to take the responsibility that Lee's going to offer to you. This is a video I was trying to compliment you about, but you thought I was about seeing where you live. Oh, right, sorry, I totally misread it, didn't I? But it was worth it because all that wisdom came out, which is not what I meant at all. Brilliant conversation. I left a comment on it, I think. Beautiful Quad X, I really honor you. Quad Rex, you've been, it's kind of similar to my surname. You've been an amazing contributor tonight. Thank you so much. Justin, you've been a fantastic contributor. I really like it when people do this, by the way. Make small donations to get their comments answered. I really think that's great. Heart of hearts, what can I say? Heart to heart, I can say your name, right? Heart to heart, just, there's no words to express my gratitude towards you. A new one, Frank Castle. Quadrex has just been an amazing contributor in every way possible tonight. We love Manchester Tarts and Tours and what they do in this world. Fantastic. Get a treat for the cats. Okay, I will. I've already kind of done it, to be honest. But I'll show you what you've paid for. Oh, and they're at the point where I can actually start playing with them now. That's fantastic. So far, these have just, I bought them 2 days ago and they've just been on the fridge because the cats have been too scared of me. But this is what you bought for the cats. Thank you from the cats. Meow, meow, meow. Quadrex again, Justin again, Rachel needed a bit of attention. I love you, Rachel, sending lots of love. I don't care. However you show up is very welcome because you're amazing and you're doing the work. And of course, there's going to be times where you're more like this and other times where you're more like this, just like it is for me, just like it is for everyone. So we honor that and we respect that. And we acknowledge that it may all just be my projection anyway. But whatever I offer you on each live stream, Rachel, is for your greater good, in my opinion. But of course, my opinion could be BS. Lots of love. Thanks for joining me. See you all very soon.